All right. We are back. Although we didn't really go anywhere, we just switched studios because, I don't know, I've got the fake telly going on in my bedroom. For those of us that are just joining us, my name is Dani Wallace and I am the Queen Bee. We are now officially, I think, 9 hours in to the Big Festoon. And I have got an incredible guest coming up for you next. But before we do, we have a word from our sponsors. And I don't believe we've met Ruth. Hello.
Hello. We've never met, but I've seen you everywhere. So huge congratulations on all that you've done.
Thank you so much. And I love the fact that we've never met before. This is the first time we're meeting and you're sponsoring a slot and I'm so honoured. So Ruth Cuddy, hello. Tell us about what you do.
So I'm a coach. I'm a mindset and business coach. I'm a coach trainer. So I help people who want to develop their coaching skills or develop their coaching businesses.
Amazing. Fantastic. And how have you come across the Big Festoon?
So through Joe Swan. So I know Joe quite well. And when she put up the next guest, I actually saw the next guest speak. I used to be deputy head teacher at a primary school, probably in about 2008. It was pre-Olympics. It was in Newham. She was talking to all the kids and she was unbelievable.
I've got no doubt. And I'm trying not to get emotional thinking about I've got to speak to her in a second. I can see you backstage, Tessa. I'm like this. I'm just going to calm myself down.
She was absolutely incredible. And I remember speaking to her then. I'm sure she won't remember me. And she was just so humble, but she was so gracious. And her message then was about resilience. I'm sure it's probably still going to be about resilience now. It's something that I talk about a lot. And I just remember those little kids in that school. I think it was in East Ham, Tessa, but I'm not 100%. It's definitely in Newham somewhere. Because I used to work across the whole borough. And it really stayed with me. So when Joe put that up, I was like, yes, I was going to sponsor. I was going to give you money anyway. And I was like, well, 100%.
Why not? Let's have a chat while we do it. And now we're friends.
Exactly.
It's official.
I love what you're doing. So thank you so much.
Ruth Cuddy, thank you so much. It was a word from our sponsor. Everyone, please do go and check her out. She will be along the ticker along the bottom, I believe. Wallace, do we have a ticker? We do have a ticker. Let's show it. There we go. Right, Ruth, hugest love to you. Thank you so much for your donation. I'm going to pop Ruth out and welcome on to our next guest. Honestly, this came through at the 11th hour, and I have been praying that we could get hold of this person since fruition, since we started this. So the fact that I'm about to speak to this person is just like knocking my socks off a little bit. Can we have an update, please, Wallace, just before we do, on our running total? How much are we at? We've got donations coming through thick and fast. We are £13,762 from my bedroom. You lot, we are doing pretty amazing. And without further ado, please can you welcome on to the live this afternoon the wonderful Tessa Sanderson.
Hello, Dani.
Tessa, I'm like this. Oh my God.
I'm here. Look at your bedroom, the Big Festoon. My God, how incredible. It's wonderful. And it's wonderful that you've raised so much already.
I know. It's crazy. Some of it's been in sponsorship. A lot of it's been through the course of the day today. And we're far from over yet. We're going to be going through till 8 o'clock tonight. So we've got a number of guests on. But when I got the call yesterday to say that you'd, found out about us and that you were going to be a part of it, I spoke to Wallace. We're in separate rooms at the minute. He works from downstairs and I work from upstairs. I was like, Wallace, we've got Tessa Sanderson. He was like, you are?
Oh,
it was just.
Thank you so much. And when my manager mentioned to me about being on the show, I jumped to it and I said, fantastic. It's great cause. Let's raise lots and lots and lots if we can. And you know what? Hey, I'm just happy to be here. And I'm sitting in my room, not in my bedroom, I hasten to add, but here we go.
I love it. So thank you so much for joining us, Tessa. It is a huge honour for you to. What have you been up to since lockdown? Talk to me.
Oh, I tell you something, lots and lots of things. I mean, I think the first sort of 4 or 5 weeks was very, very hard because, you can't see family or anything like that. My sister, who is now like 3 years older than me, and I think, oh my God, in all the time we've been born, I've never been 3 weeks without seeing my sister and friends. And so it's been kind of hard that way, but mainly because my kids is off school now and I've got twins. And I tell you something, it's not been overly as hard as I thought, but just keeping them active, being out in the back garden, sort of doing things. My ambassadorial roles, which I've taken on, like Adoption UK and all these sort of people, and that's been quite good because we've had to be doing some activities to try and raise as well funds for the elderly, getting involved in that and doing that just from home and making a phone call here and there and just keeping in touch with people by the phone has been really, really good work-wise. But as for things like, running my foundation, going to my office, no, that's been a no-no. But I can tell you something, that's okay too. So it's been busy. And also, the other things what I've done, a lot more cooking, although I cooked before, but my little girl and I have been busy in the kitchen, cooking all these sort of lovely little things that we've been trying to create. And because my niece is a vegetarian, so, I've been learning some of the things she's been doing. I've been running in and out my husband's office because he's here too. And I tell you, that's been fantastic because with the work my husband does, he's always away. I'm sure, Dani, I married a gypsy, but he's great.
I think that's what my husband thought. He's never seen me at home so much the whole time that we've been together.
Yeah, that's been the toughest part, I think, not seeing your family. But outside of that, I've been coping. My manager and I've been ringing every other day, just talking about things. And there's a lot of things to do, but of course, not outside. So you become a bit more sort of closer with families and friends. I've been listening to CNN 24/7 sometimes, but it's been hard because I've never had to stay at home in such a long time and just kind of make things happen, for yourself and family.
It is, and it's such a strange time. Like I've never experienced anything like it. I'm sure you've never experienced it. It's just so strange a situation for us all to be in. But so you've got some little ones. How old are your little ones?
They're 7.
They're 7.
And they're twins. And honestly, to my husband and I, they're our world. They're just fantastic. The one's a little bit higher than the other ones, and that creates a problem because, they're always fighting. The little girl is strong and sturdy. My little boy, he's a little bit more slimmer.
Right, got you.
But they fight like crazy in the sense they've been doing well with their schoolwork, but they're just absolutely marvellous. One of the best things I've ever done.
Oh, amazing. So a little bit of background. So I know you back because I'm a huge fan. So I always feel like you shouldn't have to have any kind of introduction. But for some people who might not have come across you before, you were the first, let me get this right, the first Black Olympic gold medalist in the UK.
The first throwing gold medalist, and still is, thank God. Can you believe it? It's been
hold on to a title, girl.
35 years.
Hell.
I'm in there. But yes, I am the first Black female to have won an Olympic gold medal, a throwing medal, and it was hard. Boy, in those days, because, the competition rivalry that I had with people here, and being on top of the world for like sort of 9-10 years in the best, 6-7 in the world, and being able to having to work as well as during the time, because I worked right up to the day I won my Olympic gold medal, girlfriend, and then I came home, and 3 weeks afterwards I was made redundant. Well, my job went liquidated, the whole company went out of sync, so here I was with this Olympic gold medal, and I had about £4,000, and people who were sort of helping with the sponsorship to get there, and I had no job, so it was kind of tough. But in saying so, winning that gold medal was, oh my God, it was like the feeling of here. When you're on that middle podium and you feel that you've beaten the rest of the world and the whole country's watching, you're standing there all proud in your GB colours and vests and everything. And it's just such an amazing feeling. I couldn't even speak. Once you're on the podium, you're going to say that's hard work, but get off.
Yeah.
But it's just a phenomenal thing to have achieved.
Yeah, of course. And obviously that'll be the thing you get asked about most, I guess. And does it ever get tedious talking about it? Because I know I'm lucky. I get to interview lots of people, even under the radar. And I don't like asking questions that people always get asked. It's boring. They have to trot out the same bloody stories time and time again. But it is so inspiring. And do you ever get bored of talking about it? Like, you can tell me it's all right. We're safe. We're all friends. Did you ever get bored talking about it, or is it just you
No,
relive that all the time and
I
you're here?
can honestly say to you, girlfriend, I never ever get bored about talking about winning my Olympic gold medal, mainly because, I had worked 12 hard years in the sense. And then, and the competition for me it wasn't just against, people in GB, it was against the whole world. And it was such a fascinating feeling. America, well, then, not now, I don't know, it was absolutely fantastic in the Olympic Village. It's a unique window. As I say, I did 6 consecutive Olympic Games, still the only black person to have won that throwing medal, female. And when I go into schools, it's and I speak to kids about taking up sport and about being active. It's a feeling of saying, okay, guys, here's health. This is so inspiring. It's a pathway that can take you to something and somewhere that you've never been to. It's a feeling which is so different. So I never really get bored. And also, my medal, I think, is a real one, because it really. It's like a solid gold. And
it's a proper one
all the time, and it's just a great, unique window. So no, I never get bored.
So you were in athletics for such a long time, like you said, so many consecutive Olympics. But being an athlete, there is a shelf life on being an athlete. It's the same. I'm in the entertainment world. I'm a singer, and I feel like for me, there's a kind of a shelf life on. I don't want to be in my space 45 and lugging my PA equipment up and down. I'm not the level of singer where I have it all laid out for me. I just have to turn up and sing. So, what was the sort of reinvention process like for you? Because it's an interesting topic. I think that so many people right now, if they've had a leg kicked out from their business, they're having to rethink about how they do business now. And you was in a position where, you was an athlete, that was your role, that's what you did. What about when you moved out of that arena and then
Well, I think one of the things that was for me on the latter part of my athletics career, I'd learned to make sure that, I haven't won that gold medal. I came home and I really suffered a lot those years because, as I said, I had no job, I had no money, this and that, I had to do something. So it was like reinventing myself, like you're saying. So I did a little bit of coiffure and make sure, that I was looking the part a little bit better.
Yes.
And I'd had some experience of presenting for 2.5 years for Sky TV on the sports section. So I'd learned a bit of that, learned a bit of journalism. I think the art of it was communication as well, because sometimes after you've won, there's a camera under your nose or your mouth, you've got to learn what to say and not be really stupid. And sometimes it can be stupid.
I do it regularly.
But the thing was, I started to sort of pick up the mentor and thought, well, let me start sort of re-educating and talking about how I got to win an Olympic gold medal and talk to people. And then, I did get managers, working with a couple of managers who helped me along the line. I went and did after dinner speeches and talks, just like things that I'm doing now. And that gave me a lot more confidence outside of that as well. And, I kept in touch with in the sporting fraternity a lot. And so that helped me to work things, better, and also gain a lot more confidence outside of the arena as well. So whenever I went to do things, it was making sure that I had all my scripting right in front of me that I really needed to do, and just talked about where I've been. So it was difficult, but I also felt I had the confidence in myself, because when you're out there competing, it's not just you, it's you and everybody else. And you've got to make sure that you can press the right button. And thank God for me, I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, amazing. And so you do speaking work, the TV presenting work. Like when I was growing up, like Tessa Sanderson was everywhere on the TV when I was growing up. And I think that you were such a staple part of television and presenting or sport or whatever. You just seem to be
Hey girl,
all
you were
over the place. Say that again.
You were just a baby.
I was just a baby, but still, it's like, I was maybe not just a baby, but even like into the 90s, you were very, very much a part of the fabric of my media when I was growing up. I think that was why I was so like amazed and made up when you said that you was going to be part. It's just such a part of the fabric of British culture and of British media. What about the ambassador work that you do now? Because you do some really important work now, and it is incredible.
Well, the thing is, yes, I work as a patron for Adoption UK, which is fantastic. You know, they call on me to do all sort of things because so much is needed in that. You know, and children being adopted is really important to do that. Endorsing product as well, like people like Emerge Surf. I'm going to be doing this wonderful project. So 25 million going to be in Surfland Lagoon, which is going to be up Coles Hill in Birmingham, so that's looking really, really promisingly. It's not carved in stone yet, but that's looking to do really good. On the modelling side, hey girlfriend, I did my first modelling on the walk this year. Let me tell you about this designer. He's fantastic. He's born in Turkey, but he's an Irish brand, and his name is Umit Cutler. Don't forget.
I'm going to write him down. I'm going to write him down right now. I got my pen. I got my notebook. One of the amazing things about doing this, Tessa, is that because I've had so many people on that could teach me things, I've taken notes the whole way through. I've literally paid for my own seminar. I'm like, right, tell me the things. I'm here. I'm ready to learn.
Umit Cutler. Yes. He's born in Turkey, but his brand is Irish, fantastic. He makes the most beautiful clothes and leather and furs and colours. Is amazing. So, you know, I've had a go at doing that, and I'm still doing that, which is great. On my after dinner side, my manager and I have been working mad on just doing a lot more sort of speeches and things like that, which is great, which is coming up after we've got, you know, coronavirus out the way. Oh, what else am I doing? I'm really looking to do a TV chat show, which we're writing in little things that will hopefully get somewhere on air, and you know, where I'm talking to other sporting people and hoping to have my own YouTube channel, things like that. And fitness, I've been really keeping up a lot with my weight for the last you know, maybe a year. I'm down to like a size 10 in clothing, and because not competing, I was a lot more muscly and stronger, but I didn't force myself to lose the weight. I think I just ate a little bit more in kind and knowing what I wanted to eat, a lot more sort of fish and chicken and things like that. But life is good. I'm glad that I've really had to keep myself up there, be aware of things, still going to school, do a lot of those. So, you know, it's looking quite good. But I'd like to hit the TV a lot more in the sense because I've been doing that. I love the work that I do. Haven't had my own show yet to present. So maybe, hey, like yourself.
This is it. We've got to make the tables. We're going to go and sit at them. That's it. That's what we're going to do. I love it. So
I'll tell you, women, hey, we're there in our droves now. We're doing fantastic, foot forward. You know, I mean, it's just been amazing. I'm so happy the way that women has put their foot forward, confidence in themselves, making things work for them. Look at you and all that. It's just fantastic. I'm so proud. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of every woman that's out there. All the mums out there as well, doing super job.
Yeah, and they are, and you're a mum yourself. Now tell me, and I hope you don't mind me talking about this. You become a parent quite late on in life. How have you found that?
Well, you know, I adopted my children at a much older age. I became a mom at the age of, you know, way over 50.
I mean, you don't look this. Like someone was just saying, my God, what's your secret, Tessa?
Girl, I am 64 this year.
Not it. Yeah, you are. Look at you.
Throw that out there. Soap and water, a bit of slap.
That's it.
Yeah, a bit of slap, and it's all go. I try and, you know, keep to the same sort of like you know, makeup produce. I don't sort of go crazy out there with things, and you know, it's all working for me. I suppose my genes is pretty good, but you know, I like everybody else. I just hang in there and make sure that I'm doing the right thing, and I do try and eat properly as well. And you know, I have a hubby that doesn't really harass me in the sense he says I'm a hoarder. He says I'm a hoarder and I'm taking everything and hoarding everything from the Olympics I've had from the first time 1976 till now and blah blah blah.
That's what my husband does. He keeps older stuff and he's like, it's going to be worth something, Daniela.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I don't really mind that. He's fine. He goes with all his shaving stuff. I have to say that Balance Me I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's one of those products that I use, on my skin, and make sure that, I have all the energy pumped back in my skin. And I'm not into cleanse, soap, moisturizer every day, everything.
Too long. It's a long thing.
This product is fantastic. So I rely on that a lot. And the girls are great from Balance Me to work with. So, it's really good. But being a mom at that age, people used to say to me, oh my God, how are you going to do it? But because my husband and I were so used to traveling while we're competing, because remember, every time you went away, sometimes you'd have to get up, be ready in the morning, 6 o'clock, go down the track or whatever, prepare yourself. Yeah. So when the kids came along, they were still babies, and they weren't really that healthy. So we had to nurture that. And then, so like 1 o'clock in the morning, getting up, on call these times, and making sure that everything that was needed for them was ready. We're prepared to do that, and it's fantastic. I'm healthy, I'm fit, please God, touch wood, so we could cope with that. But life is not easy when you've got to do the school run and then get off and do do your work. No. And you've got to, with the women at school as well, they're a great group. They're fantastic to work with. So they help me a lot.
Oh, amazing. There's lots of things in the pipeline for you that's coming up, and it's really exciting to hear about. What's the bit that you're most excited about?
I think at the moment, it's just making sure that we're formulating this career more or less for a lot more media, a lot more TV. I've got a few, the emerge surf thing I'm really excited about as well. Because when I did, the other thing was Stand Up for Cancer, when I had to learn to swim. Oh, girl, listen, let's back up a bit. Let me tell you. Tell me. Challenge, but I couldn't swim for duff. And so they had to take you and teach you how to swim, how to tread water, all these sort of things, and your head's going like that way when it's supposed to be going that way.
This is not my sport. I'm throwing things.
It was an experience and a half, but it was a wonderful thing to have done for Stand Up to Cancer. I can now swim, and it was learning to swim the English Channel. How on earth are you going to do that? I mean, I did as much as I could, but now I can swim for an hour and a bit, let's say. I've been in the sea where I've not drowned because I'm still here. So that was great, but I'm looking forward to do a lot more sort of speaking work. The modeling is still on there. So, and one would say at 60 plus, what are you doing? But I'm enjoying all of that.
We need to see that kind of representation. We absolutely need to see that kind of representation with older women on the catwalk, more black women on the catwalk. We need to see more Tessa Sanderson on the catwalk.
Ah, thank you.
All day, every day.
Yeah, well, I don't know about every day because I think I'd be totally knackered. I don't know how they do it. And all those high shoes
all the time.
All those high shoes and quickly make up and slap on and do. I'll tell you what, it's tough going. But I am looking forward to the next sort of so many months after Corona that we can get back to work. Doing a lot more sort of media things, going into my schools, getting on with my, the foundation work of helping other people. So there's lots that's happening. And also to just have like a barbecue with my family, my sister, my niece, my nephews, all these.
Like when we can hug in rooms. I'm looking forward to hugging in rooms. I keep saying this. Like going to an event or going to something and then getting to give somebody a big cuddle. That's what I'm a hugger.
Yeah, we take all these things for granted, but oh my God, it's fantastic when we will be able to do this. It's like, I hate to touch on it, but look what's going on now, in America. Sad. Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't hate to touch on it. It's important that we talk about it. It's important that we, don't shy away from the conversation because it's horrible.
Absolutely, because it is happening. I'm a very, very, very proud Black woman, born Black. And, for all these things to be happening, very sad. I remember after I came back from the Olympic Games, and I did have this letter. It was absolutely awful. And it was someone who wrote to me and said, remember, you haven't won your medal for Great Britain because, you are Black and don't think you ever would have won it for Great Britain. And that was like, what's this? I didn't expect anything like that. And to see things like this, which is still happening and happening in America, oh my God, it's one of the most saddest things because Black lives does matter.
Absolutely. And it's been a strange old week on social media. The conversation. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say the conversation is something that I've never really shied away from. It's very interesting to see how many people are entering the fray and to what degree, and it's very telling how revealing people are about themselves right
Absolutely.
now.
We've been following it all the time, and my family's been following it, and friends have been following it. CNN has been really broadcasting fantastic, and we in UK has been broadcasting quite a lot about it. But you know, it's something that you can't shy away from, and especially as a Black person, we are proud. I'm not ashamed of my skin, and no one should be judged by the color of their skin, because inside we're all the same, red-blooded. You
Put us
know,
up and we all bleed the same.
we have a mind, we have a brain. Yeah, we want to be respected. Yeah, like we respect other people, whether you're Black, white, indifference, whatever. But at the moment, you know what? This Black is troubling a lot of people in America as such. But also it was interesting to see how many multi people were marching, especially from white people, Black people, all of these. And that is fantastic.
I think that's the interesting thing right now is the conversation feels different though. So yes, there's a lot of fiction that's going on, but actually I'm seeing a lot of love. I'm seeing more people come forward and say, no, I'm standing with my Black brothers and sisters right now. We are marching together now. We have to march now. If we don't speak now, how can we expect things to change in any way, shape or form? So I've in my lifetime, it's not something I've seen. This sort of conversation hasn't taken place since the 60s in my knowledge. So it does feel like there's something, and there's a lot of love when people are standing side by side and sitting on the spike and saying, do you know what, calling people out and saying, you know, this is wrong. Actually, that's coming from a place of love right now, and that I'm scared but excited at the same time to see where this conversation is going to take.
Well, I think you look at the situation now, how many mixed race children we have. You know, because at one stage that was another thing, you know, it was Black more or less and white, and even some people who didn't want to be with each other. But now the world is uniting, because what happened to George Floyd was just absolutely ridiculous, and it should have been united years ago. But you look at how many mixed race people, mixed race children. What are we going to tell them? What are we going to tell our young Black children coming through? You know, that they mustn't love, they must side against another color, skin of another color's person. No, what we want, we need unity, we need equality, and you know, we have worked very hard for that. And that way that's where it should be. So that's why not just Black people, many people across the world now are hurt, because we especially are humans too. We are Black people, but we are humans too.
Absolutely. And do you know what? I'm so honored to have you here as part of our lineup. You gobsmacked me yesterday, and it's such a blessing to even just be having a chat to you. Tessa Sanderson, thank you so much for joining us for the Big Festoon.
Dani, thank you. This has been superb. I've loved sort of talking to you. Good luck with the challenge and the campaign and everything. You know, us women are doing fantastic. Stay there, and you know what? Keep doing the job you're doing. Love it.
Thank you so much. You take care. Lots of love, my darling. Tessa Sanderson, everybody. Oh my God. Like, let me just take a second. Everybody, can we just all breathe a minute? Let me take a sip of my Prosecco before I invite another powerhouse into the fray. If that wasn't worth donating for, I don't know what is. Honestly, today we've not let up on you, have we? We've not let up on you. Let me just tell you very, very quickly before we bring our next sponsor on, another person I haven't met before, which I'm really excited about. Like, you're giving me surprises today, and I'm just overwhelmed. So next up, we've got Angelica Malin from About Time Magazine is going to be joining us really shortly in just a second or so. Then we've got the formidable and the incredible Carla Balu is going to be joining us from Los Angeles. After that, we've got Dan Meredith is going to come on and give me a little bit of a break. Just let me go and have a wee and have a chat to you about the 3 things that you need to do in order to be successful, even if you don't want to do them. And after that will be Dr. Ranj is going to be joining us, talking to us about his experience of COVID. And we've also got the fabulous Emma Kenny, TV psychologist Emma Kenny. We've then got Elaine Lou Carter's talking to us about legacy businesses. And then we're going to round out the day with Nat Anderson. But right then, let us proceed with our next sponsor from Bounce Network. Ashley, hello.
How you doing? Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. It's nice to meet you, sir.
Well, the feeling is mutual. I mean, talk about powerhouse. I mean, you're amazing. I've heard so much about you. So your reputation precedes you, Queen Bee, Dani.
Oh, thank you.
It's a great honour to well, actually, slightly nerve-wracking, in fact, to follow in the footsteps of the great Tessa Sanderson. I mean, she was my childhood hero, and so it's to follow her is not easy, right?
It's crazy. They say never meet your idols, and I've done nothing but meet my idols in the past 2 weeks, and not one of them has let me down. They've just been absolutely phenomenal. So, you know, but you are in safe company. You are here amongst friends. Ashley, tell us about what you do.
Well, I mean, I'm very proud to be the chief executive of an amazing business called Bounce. Ultimately, I'll keep it simple, but we're a life insurance broker, but with a difference. We want to make sure that families are protected or better protected. I guess especially in this crazy time that we're living in, we've all realised the importance of our mortality, haven't we?
Yeah.
But what I'm more passionate about, what we're passionate about, is to empower women to build businesses from home with our referral network, which is Bounce Network. It's a very simple, very transparent, highly rewarding business that makes an overwhelming difference to so many people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
We're very proud to work with our charity partner Mind, one of the best mental health charities.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. I've accessed their services myself; they're amazing.
Well, and likewise, and it's a terrible thing that we all suffer from in silence half the time. So we're proud to donate a large part of our profits to Mind. We're delighted. We're proud of that, and we know that so many mums in our network, they resonate, so much with the charity, because we all live in this fast-paced, highly pressurized, stressful life.
Yeah.
It's something that we go through, or would know someone that goes through in our life. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I created the business. Really make a massive difference to other people's lives. I have to say, mainly women. It's been, and we've got so many women now that are part of Bounce that are making six-figure, incomes every year on the back of their endeavors, their hard work, their love, their care within the Bounce community, but around their kids and their commitments. And now these women are sort of being empowered and now are the breadwinners, which is amazing.
Yeah, and it is interesting that is a trend that is growing and growing and growing, right?
Yeah, it's phenomenal, and I have to say, I've worked with quite a few powerhouse women in Bounce myself as part of my management team. In fact, my entire management team and board are all women. I'm outnumbered. So
welcome. I feel like I'm being angry and aggressive. I don't care. I've got this. This is what a feminist looks like, but I mean this in love, and I can see that you are too. So we are kindred spirits. I love it, Ashley. I am ever so sorry, but we've run out of time for our time together. But please do stay in touch. I would love to know more about Bounce Network. So please do drop us a note. And
before I go, I want to make sure that everyone knows that they can, if they come on board with us, everyone gets a free will worth £130.
Right.
If they want to join the business, just click on the link, and then we'll be more than happy to invite you into the network. So please come and join us.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Ashley Redding from Bounce Network. It has been a pleasure to meet you, and not the last time that we will have a conversation. I have got no doubt. Thank you so much for sponsoring the slot. It will make a huge difference. So thank you so much.
Keep up the great work and everything that you're doing with Angelica as well. Amazing. Great causes.
Thank you. So that was Bounce Network. I am not going to mess around any longer. I am so excited to meet this next lady. We've not had an opportunity to talk, so we are meeting for the first time. And I am, do you know what? I'm digging on it. I'm digging on flying by the seat of my pants. Angelica Mallin, enter the fray. Hello.
Hello. Grand review.
Here she is. How are you?
I'm good. I got dressed for you.
You got dressed. So many people got dressed for me today. I'm like, why? I'm just wearing t-shirts. Like, we're not getting dressed up. But thank you. Hey?
I was painting a wall, so I was like, I can't really wear my painting clothes. I was covered in paint.
You would have been welcome. The very fact that you're giving up your time today, it wouldn't matter if you wore a banana suit. It wouldn't have mattered to me in the slightest, my angel. But thank you so much for making the effort today. So, Angelica, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's always strange when I meet people for the first time. Normally, I get an opportunity to have a little chat beforehand. So you're gonna tell me about some things. I'm gonna ask you about some things, and we're just gonna shoot the shit. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely fine with me.
Amazing. So I am a fan of the work that you do. So even though we haven't met before, About Time magazine is such a great read. It's such a great place to go and hang out and go and learn and go and read and go and catch up on life. Tell us about it.
Sure. So I started it 6 years ago. It's a lifestyle platform. We cover anything It's About Time You did in London. So it'll be like food and drink, kind of cool trends, fitness, anything that's new and noteworthy, which has been a particular challenge over the last few months because not a lot's been going on. But, you know, we pivot, we change. So I've done that for 6 years. And then we also host events through the About Time Academy. The biggest one we do is called She Started It Live, which is a female entrepreneur festival. So I kind of do a lot in that space.
And what brought you to that?
Well, I've never actually had a job. Like I've never worked for someone else. Straight out of uni, I just wanted to be a journalist. There weren't a lot of jobs going at the time. And I kind of just was like, I'll give my own website a go, kind of as a portfolio, I guess. And then it just went from there. And I think once you get used to self-employed life, it's quite hard to go back.
You can't go back. I am now unemployable.
Yeah, me too. I would fire myself. Like
I am completely unemployable. I would be a risk to everybody around me.
Yeah, and like I love being in charge of my own schedule and being flexible and working when I feel like it, and you know, just being the master of your own ship, I suppose, which comes with all the challenges, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah, and I think that the challenges they outweigh the pain, because when you're chasing the love of something and the money happens off of the back of it, it feels like work when the hours are long, but it doesn't feel like work in the same way, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. I feel like all the self-help books are like money is energy, money is a flow. And I used to really feel quite sneering about that concept of money being energetic. But actually, as time has gone on with my business, I think that's really the case, that where you put the energy in, where you're excited, where you're passionate, the money seems to just come. And it's not like a relationship that's so transactional. It does, when you need it to, it does just appear, but it's about kind of putting your whole heart and soul into something.
Yeah, and so tell me about these events. So Joe's like, we're all going to She Started It. The very fact that it's called She Started It, I am here for that. Like, tell me about it. Tell me about these events. Tell me what brought you to the event.
Sure. So we've done event campaigns in the past where we've done kind of six events over 6 weeks. So we do like one a week of panel talks. And we did one that was all about female entrepreneurship. And every week we do a panel talk in London and it'd be a different industry. And it was amazing, really good feedback. Like lots of people were saying that they were conversations they hadn't heard before, or it just given them the push that they needed to go off and start their own thing. But obviously I was a bit exhausted because you're doing one event a week, you're constantly having to promo it, sell it out, you know. It was
events, I have no idea.
Yeah, just doing them in that way wasn't really working actually. So we did kind of 2 years where we were doing events in that format. And then one of my team was like, you need to just make it a festival, do it like a big one-day event. And I think it was just me being a bit nervous about doing something quite new and booking a much bigger venue and kind of really stepping up. And that's what we did in September. And then the plan was to do one in March, but we had to postpone that one. So hopefully that will be in October.
I saw and I was like, gosh, that would have been absolutely my bag.
That was so hard because that was the week before the lockdown, and it was so funny how quickly all of that stuff happens. But the week before, I ran the UK government like hotline, and they were like, keep calm and carry on is our official advice, like go ahead with your event. And then the following week it was like nobody can leave their houses, so that's
stay in your house
quickly. So I'm glad that we made the decision off our own backs to hold it then, but it was really difficult. We'd worked on that for months, so it was quite disappointing.
Yeah, it is. And you know, for so many people with so many things, especially in events, it's hard when there is, you know, July for me is workshop season. So I do a lot of workshops in the run up to the summer holidays, because August, it is my intention to take August off. Not that that's going to be the case. No one knows what's going to happen. But to have those workshops that you know where you're going to make a massive impact, you know, everyone's going to have a great time. It's great PR, all of these great things about having, you know, events, and then to be told you can't have them, it must be a proper kick in the nuts. So what have you been able to do instead, or what have you been up to during lockdown then, given that, you know, content is a little bit different these days? You know, if you're keeping your finger sort of abreast, so to speak, of what's coming up and what's new, how have you dealt with that within your business? How have you dealt with that from an events point of view and from a brand point of view?
It's incredibly challenging. I think one of the hardest things, and where it really is quite confronting, is about your own mindset. Is what I realized when this huge shift happened, was that like my mindset wasn't positive enough that we were able to overtake those big pivots and like as a brand and as a company navigate a really big change. And so a lot of the work I did at the start was just getting in the right headspace of like, okay, wow, there's a really big challenge on the table now. How are we going to run with this? And it kind of, I think it strengthens you in ways. I'm grateful of that experience that's really kind of pushing you to be positive and to innovate. With the magazine, we were able to pivot to an extent by just running a lot more well-being content, doing more interviews, ideas for things to do virtually during lockdown. We were able to kind of come up with a content strategy. It is quite difficult though, I think, if you're known as a brand for doing one thing. I think the challenge with that has been is that we might not have been like the go-to magazine for mental health content or for interview content, and we're known for like brunch and roundups and food. So it is challenging to make that shift with your audience. I think one bit of advice I could say on that is that if you are trying to make a brand shift, is to be as transparent as possible. So just talking to audience, we do lots of like talking to camera story stuff on share when we're trying to change things up, so people at least have a sense, because we didn't want our audience to turn around and be like, whoa, that's not you guys. Like,
we did a very left field move here, like we're not here. That's what we turned up for.
Exactly. So we try and be kind of transparent with what we're doing. And then on the event side, we have moved into online events. It took us a while to get into gear with that, and I'm still finding it difficult in a way, because I think what I really love about our events and what we're known for is bringing people together in a physical space. And it's really challenging to create that networking opportunity and the interaction that you get in a face-to-face context. So the kind of events that we would run physically, we haven't really been running online, but we've done lots of like educational webinars, stuff that you might put on while you're making lunch and listen to. And, you know, we've done finance ones, we did a gardening expert one, which was fab. Yeah. So educational perhaps, but less like network orientated, if that makes sense. Yeah. And yeah, I think it would be hard to put the festival online and have the same kind of impact, because I know for me, being a business owner, like meeting other founders has been one of the things that has served me the most in the long term, and that's what we try and facilitate with our events. And I don't know whether that's possible like over Zoom in the same way.
I think that interestingly, there are other platforms where you can experience conferencing in a bit of a different way. I think there are, instead of just Zoom, because I mean, personally, I find Zoom dry. The reason why I stumbled across StreamYard, because I could make it look like I was on the television. But so I was just making it up. But there are conferencing suites out there that kind of, I was exploring this with a lady that I know, Jane Baker, and you can have like, on your screen tables that are, you can choose who you sit around the table with, and then you've got to go and network with the other people around the table. Then you have like a stage on the screen at the front where you watch. It's all sorts of crazy technology now that that kind of pseudo creates those environments, but there is nothing as good as hugging in a room.
I know. It's so true. It's so true. So yeah, I do hope we'll be able to get back to the physical stuff, and we'll be all the more grateful for it. But you know, it's interesting to see how many companies are going to change off the back of this, from like online conferences to like not having physical office space. I think it's crazy, just this quick digitalization of everything.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of digitalization, so you've got the magazine. Am I right? Am I getting this right? I want to make sure I've got this right. There's a podcast as well, right?
There's a couple of podcasts actually. So yes, we have a She Started It podcast, which is just interviewing female founders of all different walks of life. And that's a really nice one. It kind of goes alongside the festival. And then I've been doing a podcast during lockdown called Unprecedented, where I've been interviewing experts about kind of how we manage our well-being and our mental health during this time. So I kind of started working on that pretty early on in lockdown, mainly because I needed something to do. I was like coming up with ideas. So I've spoken to a grief expert, I've spoken to a mental health expert, just anxiety, just all sorts of different things. And that was a DIY situation, like doing it over the duvet to make it sound right.
Yeah, one of my friends there's lots of people creating podcasts right now, and she took a picture of herself. I don't have a podcast, and the reason I don't is because I don't understand the technology of it. I know how to do Facebook Lives because I've been doing Facebook Lives for the past like 7 years. So it doesn't bother me anymore. But this is like set up like a mini television studio. I know what I'm doing here. I feel like I'm on the radio, but you can just see us. With podcasts, I don't understand it. I have worked like being a singer. I've worked in like sound studios, and as my friend is underneath the blanket taking a selfie, she's underneath the blanket. Trying to get the good sound happening.
It's not quite complicated. You just need an external mic and a platform. There's a platform called Zencaster where you can get your guests to log in, and then the audio is saved. It's really not that difficult.
I get myself all baffled. The reason you can only see this is because my husband do it. You just give me a microphone and then turn the camera on, and then I start talking. I don't really know how the rest of it works, but
yeah.
Tell me it's easy. Watch out! I'm gonna come and do a podcast. Claire Sweet is just saying that she did an epic podcast with Angelica. Claire Sweet is a financial advisor. She's absolutely incredible. Was she a guest?
So I've been on quite a lot of panels with Claire, actually. We were on a panel together at Career Live where we were talking about finances, and she obviously knew an awful lot more than I did. I remember on that panel, I said how I used to do my tax return by hand.
Wow.
Yeah, and that wasn't even that long. It was like 4 years ago. I used to write out every single number.
Oh, no. And so many times Claire's gone, Dani, you need to get yourself sorted. Like I say, from this point of view, like I'm here for it. Anything else that involves any kind of I've just brought in an operations manager because I don't have to think about
it. Yeah, well, that's fine. You know what? No skills. Just run with the stuff you do get.
So what are the plans going forward? So we've been through this lockdown period, wildly successful with the About Time magazine and the events really warming up, and then the kind of things being scuppered in terms of lockdown. What about now as we look on the way out of lockdown? Are you feeling like you're able to be more creative, or are you looking at doing anything else? What are you excited about?
Yeah, I think it has, it sort of propelled me to think about things a little differently. And I think also it's provided a lot of business owners who perhaps aren't able to operate in their normal capacity to look at all the other bits, which is the stuff you don't always get time for. So like looking at your like About Us page or your website, and does it need to be redesigned, or your social media, like all the branding and comms side, which I think very often when you're in the kind of hamster wheel of just getting stuff out or getting your business moving, you don't really think about how you're communicating with your audience. So I've enjoyed having a bit of a slowed pace just to look at some of that stuff and evaluate processes and how we talk to people and how we can refine our message. But I'm actually writing a book, so that's
tell me about the book.
Nice project. Yeah, I had a call with my editor yesterday and I was like, can I start talking about it, because it's not out until next year, but fine. So I'm writing a book with Kogan Page, which is a business imprint, and it is about female entrepreneurship. So I have been speaking to hundreds of female founders and getting all their experiences, and it will be out in January 2021, and it's called She Made It.
Amazing.
Well, so, it's nice to have a project. Projects are good, like especially at a time like this when you're just a bit overwhelmed. I think something chunky that you can just get stuck into, like painting the walls or writing a book, is really
right at the so I did a launch in the first few weeks, which kept me busy, and then the next couple of weeks I threw everything out of my house. So I got skips, and I was like, I can't be bored. Because if I'm bored, I'm dangerous to everybody. Then I get another idea that Wallace gets worried about. He's like, oh, what now? So I was like, let's make the house nice. We could do that for a little bit before I started planning this thing. So if you've got any advice, if we talk about, creating content for, consumption in the online and the digital world, have you got any advice for anybody starting out that way?
Yeah, sure. I think the things that I've learned have been really successful with the magazine. There's a couple of things. Obviously, food always does really well. I think people love looking at nice photos. So if you're looking to launch a blog or a website or a magazine, kind of leading with the visuals first. I think because of Instagram as well, the way in which we consume digital content has changed so much. Yeah. So making sure the visuals are on point, and if you're not a great photographer, kind of buddying up with someone who is to make that look really kind of high end. Yeah. So focus on the visuals. And then I think people-led stories, that's always the thing that people come back to and they really enjoy and they share. So our interview content always does really well, yeah. Especially if you can find people who are up and coming, who perhaps haven't been interviewed before. We found that people that are perhaps earlier on in their careers, whether they're entrepreneurs or chefs and they haven't had a lot of coverage or a lot of media talking about them are so kind of excited when that happens that they'll share it really wide with their network. So if you can find out that story. And then I think beyond just interviews, people love hearing about how other people lead their lives or their days. So simple things like 5 minutes with so-and-so, and they share kind of what their morning routine looks like or how they wind down on the weekends. I think we love getting the kind of juicy details of other people's lives. So yeah, finding that story and finding the humanity in the features, I think.
Yeah,
and then everyone loves a list. That's
just a list and list, like 5 ways to make £1 billion, like just buy it in your sleep. All of that sort of stuff. But people are inherently nosy, aren't they? People are inherently seeking connection now more so than ever. So it's no surprise, is it, that people are looking for interview type content or connection type content, story based type content. It's really, really interesting. I think this is one of the reasons why doing things like this, people find it so compelling. They just want to know what's going out there, and and having really interesting conversations. People go away all the richer for having had those conversations, as I am all the richer for having a conversation with you. It's so interesting to find what you're doing and what you're getting up to. Angelica, thank you so much for joining us today. You are an absolute angel. It does you do what you say on the tin, my darling. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your expertise and your journey with us. You are wonderful. I'm sending you 1,000,000 blessings and 1,000 kisses and consensual hugs in rooms at your next event when we're allowed to do it.
Thank you. Good luck with the rest of it.
Thank you, my darling. That was Angelica Malin, everybody, and that was sponsored by Bounce Network. How funny is it that we have just had people that we don't know have come into the Big Festoon and decided to link arms with us. So thank you, Ashley, for coming to link arms with us as part of the Bounce Network. Oh, whoo, how are we doing? Are we all right? Let's just check in. Lindsay McGlone, she's back in with another offer. Yes. Hey, you were all smashing it. Everyone who donates before 6 p.m. So before Dan Meredith comes on at 6 p.m., I will add you into my next. Everyone, wait, hang on a minute. Wait here. Everyone who donates before 6 p.m., I will add you into my next Instagram Reach and Growth Instagram course for free. Just send Lindsay McGlone, Rolling with Lindsay, a screenshot. Get donating. We are needed to bump up. We had a little flurry mid-afternoon and we need to bump up them numbers. We have got some targets to hit. Let's smash it. We've got so many people to help you guys, and I am not letting up. You've seen this is an absolute marathon for me. So if you're enjoying all the hard work that I'm putting in to make sure you have had an incredible day today, that I'm bringing you amazing content, then what I need you to do right now is go and donate. And whilst you're in it, double bubble, get yourself some training on Instagram for absolutely free, because you've donated. You were going to donate anyway. You might as well flipping well do that and get added into the next Instagram Reach and Growth Instagram course with Lindsay McGlone. I can highly recommend getting involved with that, because Lindsay, A, is a phenomenal human being. B, she is a phenomenal human being, and you need to go and get more in her world. And C, she knows things about Instagram. She knows how to make Instagram work, and she knows how to do things like, does sponsoring a slot count? It's got to be everyone who donates before 6 o'clock. I'm going to let Lindsay create the caveats around that. I'm going to let Lindsay choose the rules about that, because she's popped it on the table for everybody. Now then, I just want to double check that we are all okay. How are we feeling? I'm just going to check my messages. Some of you have been messaging me, and I can't. My mum's not messaging me anymore. She's given up trying to message me, trying to get me to share, or get me to help her to share stuff. I can't explain things to her whilst I'm trying to do this. I've just posted. Oh, look at this! I've just posted on my Facebook that all proceeds from my online group Full Moon Forking tonight, I will donate to the Big Festoon. Nikki Sprossin, thank you so much. That is so kind of you. That is absolutely wonderful. Now, if anybody hasn't come across Nikki Sprossin before, let me just tell you, she is one of, from now until 6 p.m, Lindsay, from now until 6 p.m, anybody from right now, between now and the end of the next slot. So before Dan Meredith comes on at 6 o'clock. So Nikki Sprosson, if anybody hasn't met her, you need her in your life. She's absolutely wonderful. She is going to be doing an online full moon forking tonight. I will donate the proceeds to the Big Festoon, and that is just absolutely phenomenal. Nikki's done so much to help me over the past few months. She's just, I can't explain in enough superlatives how absolutely wonderful she is. So please do go and check Nikki Sprosson out and her online full moon forking tonight, which sounds rude at the moment. She's a forking genius, is exactly what she is. So thank you to the glorious Nikki Sprosson for that. Go and get amongst it. There will be details on her Facebook page. Please go and check out Nikki Sprosson, and she's going to be donating. So not only can you benefit from the wonderful experience, there's a full moon forking experience with Nikki. She will also be donating the proceeds to the Big Festoon, which will just bump those totals up. So go and get amongst it if that is something you were going to be doing anyway. Right. I'm having a little breather. I'm having a sip. I've had a KFC. I do not feel hungry in the slightest. I'm going to tuft my hair a little bit like this. I want to make sure that every single one of you is sharing this business. Right now, I need you to be sharing it. We need as many people to be getting onto this next slot as possible, because this next guest is absolutely phenomenal. I only met her a couple of weeks ago. And we sat and we chatted for like half an hour. We connected. The work that she does is phenomenal on all levels. She works within the corporate world and within the coaching world as well. She's a stylist. She's a transformational coach. She's not a coach. She's a coach. A transformational coach. I've lost the ability to speak. My goodness. So I want you guys to surprise me. We're not going to do an update until after Carla has been on. But Wallace reckons that we can get it to 14K before the end of this slot. Now, if you've anything about you, you need to go ahead and go and do that right now. Not only because you will get access to Lindsay McGlone's Instagram Reach and Growth course, but, 1,000 fairies will come and bless you and your family as well while we're at it. Right. Need a glass of vino. Keep going. I am going. We are not stopping. I am bringing our next sponsor into the room. Look, I just seen that. Then Chanel just went. She did the sharp intake of breath. Kim Fox has just donated again to get on the course. Kim Fox, you are amazing. Kim Fox has also been one of our sponsors today with Antrobus Electricals earlier on for Alex Fox's slot. We had an absolute scream earlier on. Chanel, are you ready, boo? She's not ready at all, but she's coming on anyway. Chanel, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello, I am so good, my darling. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good. And I've absolutely loved everything today. Like, you've been with me, going to the toilet, having a shower. You've just been there.
I wonder how many people I've been to the toilet with today. Like, there's been a few of you said, "Oh, you've just come for a wee with me."
With me.
So, Chanel, wait. We need more prosecco.
I need some prosecco too.
Oh, let's have some later on. I'm gonna have some now. Someone delivered it to my door. Someone came to my door, knocked on my door, and left prosecco at my door earlier on, and that's happened. Oh, look! Wait, look what Pixie sent me. The cheese. I forgot I had that. I'm gonna eat that while Dan's on in a little bit. Right? Okay, let's talk about you, because we've got some important things to talk about, Chanel.
We have definitely.
This sponsorship slot. So, first of all, tell us about your business.
So, my business is called Pineapple PA. This is my new brand, which was done by lovely Brad at Black Label. And so what I do is I'm like a right-hand woman to people's businesses at an affordable rate to help them to get where they need to be.
Right, and you do that so incredibly well. And if it weren't for Chanel, we wouldn't have the Big Festoon t-shirts that you all have been wearing, that you've all have been buying, that you're wearing right now, by the way. Yeah. We wouldn't have. And you pulled that together in the space of a couple of hours.
Oh, it was great. Absolutely great. I was like, Brad, we need to do this. Get on the phone now. So Yeah.
And you know, you and Black Label pulled it together and just absolutely smashed it out of the park. They are brilliant. They're so comfy and they're so wonderful. So thank you. But let's talk about the more pressing issue. You won this sponsorship slot, didn't you, my angel? By no means, like, you donated and you know, you brought your whole self to the table. But tell me, how did you win the slot? Talk to me.
So it was a sponsor slot by sorry,
Lisa Wynn. It's all right. Lexi Creation Tribe. So Lisa, who we spoke to earlier on today, she sponsored a slot earlier on, and she also sponsored this slot. And she put out a competition yesterday for people who wanted to change the world.
Yeah.
Now we've had lots of conversations this week, you and I, Charnel, and we're just going to spend just a little bit longer than the 2 minutes that we originally have for everyone, because I think it's important that you came through with this idea. And it was an absolute no-brainer for not only for you to get the sponsorship slot, but also to get the coaching with Lisa, how you're going to implement this. So talk to me about this. What was your idea?
So I've noticed there is a lot going on in the world right now around the movement against the Black lives and everything going on. Now, I have got a lot of Black friends and I've got a lot of white friends, and I've seen it from every sort of point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I've had friends that are white that have come to me saying that they're scared and they don't know how to reach out to help. And I've got Black friends that are really, really angered about what's going on.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that it's creating a bit of division. And what I want to do, the group, which is like scrolling along the bottom, is going to be a safe haven, and the mission is to educate as one, to move as one, and change as one. I want it to create a safe haven where people can come and talk and ask questions about how you, what's the right terminology, how do we move as one to fix this problem, and also for everyone to feel safe and that they can actually express how they feel without getting shouted at or all the horrible things that we're seeing.
There's got to be a safe space to get educated, hasn't there? There's got to be a safe space to ask questions. I mean, Google is our friend in many situations, but to be able to stand side by side with all of our brothers and sisters and learn together, and remember that actually the cause is the same cause for everybody. It's not each other that we're fighting. That's the important thing, that actually what we want is equity. What we want is to be able to have everyone come together and bring them whole selves to every single situation, and not for the color of our skin to get in the way of that. In order to make that happen, standing together is the most important thing that we can do. Safe spaces to ask questions, safe spaces to answer questions. Without accusation and safe spaces to get it really fucking wrong. Like, you've got to get it wrong. Get it wrong. For God's sake, try.
Saying, well, what do I call you then? I'm like, just don't worry about it. Ask me what
Charnel.
My name is Charnel. Just to come and ask me, and do you know what I mean? And not feel like, I know you've touched upon it in this week, and you've been so supportive about Black Lives Matter, as well as doing the Big Festoon. I do not know how you do it.
I don't.
But I just want, it needs to be a safe haven. We need to go somewhere where we can just talk and not get offended. So
cool. Well, do you know what? Thank you so much for coming through with that idea. I know the work that you're going to do with Lisa is going to be amazing. I love you. You know I love you. And as do the rest of the Queen Bees in the Hive. You are such a light in the world. So thank you for getting involved. Thank you for your donations as well. It means the world. Charnel.
Thank you, Dani.
I'll see you later. Right, on back to business. I have been so excited about this slot from the very second I had a conversation, from the very second I was introduced to our next guest, for so many reasons, on so many levels. I'm not even going to do any more of an introduction. I'm just going to bring her in to the live and we're going to talk from there. Please welcome with open arms from Los Angeles, Carla Ballou. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You are looking resplendent in emerald green.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. Just putting out fires this morning, but I'm good for the most part.
So are you working today, or have you got the day off today? Like, where you at?
No, I'm actually in my office in Temecula. Yeah, in Temecula, California. I'm in my office.
I'm so is this a quick cheeky like coffee break with me? We just want to have a quick chat.
If you want to call it that.
So, Carla, we met a couple of weeks ago. We were introduced by a mutual friend of ours, Elaine Lucatis, who's speaking a little bit later on today. And I was asking, I was like, look, I need to speak to really strong women. I want to speak to strong women of colour. I want to speak to strong, successful women of colour. I want to get as many of them on my show as I'm able to. Please, 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 can you connect me? And she's like, you need to speak to Carla. You need to speak to Carla. And since we spoke, and since then, and me looking further into your work, I told you, I'm just head over heels in love with all of the work that you do. It's phenomenal. So tell us, you've got a couple of different hats, right?
I have a lot of different hats.
You've got all the hats. Talk us through your millinery experiences.
Well, let's see. Currently, I am a revenue cycle director. I oversee about 13 hospitals between the California and the Nevada area, even into northern Nevada. I just found out we're bringing on a new hospital in October. So
you don't need any more work or anything.
Yeah, I don't need any more to do. Let's see. Past that, I'm a transformational coach for women of color, 35 and over, who have pretty much kind of dealt with generational limiting beliefs, you know, like how our parents or our grandparents think that you should live your life this way versus us learning how to live our life the way we want to, be unapologetically about it, and go on to lead successful lives, whether that be in relationship, business, you know, or just general life. Sometimes is what I find that happens. And these women have lost their confidence either due to being in a domestic violent relationship, you know, being on drugs, could have been a combination of both. And I think I've just seen it all, especially working in fashion weeks. You know, people see these glorious models and things like that, and not realizing they are some of the most insecure people I've ever met, to tell you the truth. And so really kind of working behind the scenes, I think that's what God called me and said, hey, this is the calling. I just gave you the vice, but this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. And when we spoke, one of the things that you said, it really struck home. You get lots of people that say you've got to do the inside work first. You do the inside work first, and then everything else kind of falls into place. But for a lot of people, if you're not happy with what's going on out here, you don't feel confident enough to tackle what's going on in here. Tell us a little bit more about the kind of work that you do there, because I just think when you explained it like that, it just blew my mind.
Well, you know, it's one of those things where most people will tell you, let's do the inside work first. And when I look at any woman, it's like, okay, yeah, that sounds great and everything, but I don't feel good when I go outside. I don't like the way I look when I go outside. And so regardless of the size that you are, I mean, you know, thin women, curvy women, it really doesn't matter. If they don't feel like they have that sexy, or they don't feel like they have that assertiveness to go out there, they're not going to. And so I tell people all the time, even when I'm doing, you know, fashion weeks, I said, hey, let's just put these lashes on you. I said, because lashes can make you feel totally different than you ever did. Even though I can have a face full of makeup on, if I have those lashes on, let me tell you, it takes you to a totally different level.
You are fanning everybody out of the way like this.
And so, you know, it's like, here I come. And so by doing that and putting the lashes on and putting a face on, and then really kind of dressing a person to their body type, really gives them that confidence. I'm going to tell you, I've seen some curvaceous women that I have been able to style and to do their hair and to do their makeup. And I watch them walk out and I'm like, wait a minute, she's sexy. She's just sexy because she exudes it when she goes out. Because now, guess what? I look the part, I feel the part. And when you do that, especially to a woman, then you can actually get into a woman's inside at that point.
Right. And so when I said, like, it isn't not just stylist work that you do, it is the transformational work. And it is that once you've got that, it's like, again, you've got a set of keys that you are unlocking somebody with by you're giving them that strut, you're giving them that ownership of self, you're giving them the heels or the lashes or whatever the key is that opens that standing upright up, whatever opens that up. What happens with your work then? What do you do? What's the transformational bit? What does your work look like there?
So I can take you back to one of the women that I actually worked with that really kind of got me going in the transformational way. Is I was literally doing Africa Fashion Week one year, and she said, hey, she goes, make me beautiful. And I'm like, I looked at her like literally strangely. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Make you beautiful? You're already beautiful.
Yeah.
And I made, she says, yes. She goes, I just found out that my boyfriend of 5 years has been cheating on me for the last 3, and we're supposed to walk down the runway together.
Oh God.
And most
Like,
people
turn me up for this situation.
Yeah, most people would have, said, girl, I wouldn't be bothered with him anymore. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. But you never know what's going through somebody's mind at that particular time. And you don't want to give them the wrong advice. And so sometimes it's just best just to listen because they just want to talk it out, and then they figure it, and especially as a coach, if we stay quiet long enough, you'll figure it out anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, I'm doing her face and everything, and she's continuously talking to me. And, I told her, I said, okay, well, let's go down this road. What would happen if you did X, Y, Z? What would happen if you did this? And so when she started really kind of focusing in there, I'm like, I've never coached anybody ever. And it literally turned out, and I can say actually today, and this was probably 3 years ago, they're still together. She has just put boundaries in her relationship and things like that, but they've managed to work through it. Whereas other people, other friends or things would have told her, no, you need to leave him. No, you need to do this. That's not always the case. I think we have to really look at the relationship and see exactly what went wrong and what we contributed to it in order to make it go wrong. Now, when we're talking about on the other side, on the flip side of domestic violence, where I've done, I've dealt with women too, one of the things that we find out is it's our fault. We think it's our fault when it really has nothing to do with us.
Such a common thread. Yes,
it has nothing to do with this. I mean, I was almost thrown off a 3-story building. I've been choked with, with the telephone wire. Different things have been done to me. I've been handcuffed to a bed for 3 days. So I mean, just things like that could really attack your self-confidence and your self-awareness and things that go on around you. And so that's when I felt like I didn't have a voice. And so by now, going ahead and becoming a coach, I was able to give that voice back to other people.
And it is such an interesting thing that so many survivors do as a fellow survivor. So many, survive. When you're a survivor, you want to serve because you don't want people to feel the way that you felt when you were in those moments. One of the reasons why I help people to speak, in the same way you get people to, feel strong about themselves. One of the reasons why I get people to speak and help people to speak is because I know what it was like when I couldn't speak. I know what it's like when I couldn't be myself. I know what it's like when I couldn't share my story. And a lot of that work that I do now is really deep rooted in the fact that if I can help one person not feel like I felt in my darkest days,
right,
then that is some of my work done. That's what some of my calling, some of what God has told me. This is the work. This is the work that we do. Conversations with you is the work that we do. And so many survivors. We was talking to Emma Sale earlier on, who works half of her, the majority of her work is within the sex industry, but to empower women to own their sexuality, to choose their boundaries. Because one of the things that I was very, very lucky that there wasn't any sexual abuse within my particular situation, but I lost a lot of my own sexuality in that situation because that's one of the tools that he used to withdraw from me. So I wasn't a sexy person anymore. So and again, Emma Sale is a survivor, and it's so fascinating how many of us that when we do choose to fly anyway, when we do break through, and we'll talk about your incredible successes in just a second, how when we go out into the world with that strength and we pay that strength forward, and I just think it's phenomenal. So
yeah, I think mine was a little bit different, and I didn't really have the sex come in and play. I think more of it was because growing up, I thought that was the way to get a man, and so by using our bodies and by doing this and by doing what a man, and not realizing, wait a minute, I'm the prize. You should be running after me, not me doing what I was doing. And so I really got caught up in that, ended up getting pregnant at 16, going through 3 bouts of domestic violence until, just kind of one day sitting down and kind of, reflecting and saying, there's something wrong with this. There's totally something wrong with this. And so that's when I decided to change the trajectory of my life, go on to get my degrees and kind of move up the corporate ladder.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that as well, because move up the corporate ladder, you did. You didn't. I know we can drop the odd fuck up, but you didn't fuck about moving up that corporate ladder. You went in there and you did the thing.
I did. You know, people. I tell people, you know, when you look back at it now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of sweat. It was a lot of tears. You know, I'm somebody that didn't even graduate from high school. I actually, you know, I got my GED and went on, had a baby at 16 and worked just like everybody else until I had that aha moment. And literally, I was just on it. I literally went to school, got my bachelor's, did my bachelor's, a 4-year bachelor's in 2 years. I did a master's in under a year. I was stressed out, by the way. Just let you know, and I went.
That does not sound like a breeze.
Yeah, no, you know, and so, you know, when people say, oh, I have to work and I have to go to school, I'm like, I can't relate to that being a bad thing, because I did it in order to get to the next level of where I wanted to be. And so once I did that, then I said, okay, well, let's try the PhD now. So, you know, I'm just a dissertation away from writing, you know, from doing PhD, but it's one of those things where I said, okay, somebody gave me a chance. I worked at Georgetown University Hospital and I worked for one of the top physicians there. And one of the things he sat me down, he says, you have all the smarts in the world. He said, I just need you to go back, get the college education to match the smarts, and watch how many doors opened to you. Had it not been for that man telling me that, I probably would have been stuck. And I literally have had many doors open to me, which has been phenomenal.
And you've chose to walk through those doors as well, because it's not easy to walk through those doors, having those doors open and then stepping up and then stepping up and then stepping up. Whereas now you're managing teams of hundreds, especially within the US healthcare industry. It is fraught right now. It is stressful right now. You know, we were talking just last week about, you know, having to go and close down whole offices, well, you know, and then opening up offices and moving things around. Talk to us about how you got into the role that you're in now and what you do now.
I applied for it. No.
Yeah, you did. That's it. Dead boring. Thanks very much, Carla. It's been a compelling interview. I'll see you next time.
Well, you know, it's really funny. It's like, I think I took on the saying that, and I'm pretty sure many people have heard it, that if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to go to another room.
Correct.
And so I had literally worked my way up. I mean, I was, you know, making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. And I had a girlfriend of mine. I had a girlfriend and another guy, both multimillionaires. And they looked at me and they said, why are you still doing that work? Why haven't you moved up the ladder? Why haven't you done anything? And I got to thinking about that. And I said, because you know what? I didn't feel like I had a voice, because I would let everybody take, you know, all the work that I did, I'd let them take it and take credit for it. And so I said, well, I'm comfortable. And guess what? We get comfortable where we are and we don't want to be challenged outside of that. And so what I did is I said, you know what, forget this. And so then literally I started moving up into, you know, from manager into director, into executive director, and so forth. Yeah. And then got to a point where now, you know, I make, you know, multi-six figure.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, a little different. And then having my business on the side, which is almost going to be matching that, which is great.
I was just going to say, that's not, because it isn't just some little side hustle, what you do within your stylist and transformational therapist, transformational coaching business. This is not, you are not playing small either way. No. So achieving those phenomenal things takes a massive degree of tenacity that, if you think back, you know, having a child so young, experience that adversity, I think, would you agree that gives you that kind of resilience? Once you've lost things, once you've had that kind of situation, you almost become invincible, because...
Well, it's like, you know, I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, well, who would have ever thought you would be getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, catching a plane to be at work by 7 o'clock in the morning? You know, who does that? Who drives 2.5 hours one way or 3 hours one way to get to work? You know, yes, did I have to give up family time? Absolutely. But I was able to give my family the things that they needed and make sure that they were taken care of. And so that was kind of the trade-off. And you've got to figure out, what are you willing to give up to get where you want to get.
Right. And on the guy that we've got on coming next, Dan Meredith, talks about there is a degree of selfishness that is necessary. in order to get to where you're going. Because if you're not protective of the things that you want to go for, of the things that you want to do, if you're not protective of that, by saying no to the late nights, by saying no to, you know, that you might have to miss the odd event, or you might not for a finite period of time, then that means that actually you get to enjoy what you wouldn't have, you know, if going to a wedding of a weekend would mean I can go to the Maldives in a few years' time, I must say no to that wedding because I know the Maldives are on the way.
I don't watch TV. You know,
No.
people are like, you really don't watch TV. I'm like, I probably see maybe one or two shows that I really like on TV. Other than that, you know, I'm always being updated. People are like, well, you don't watch the news. I'm like, if I really want to watch news, I can go on Facebook. Believe me, it's there. I can catch the news. But
you can look outside the window and see what's going on.
I can
right
see
now.
what's going on. But I haven't watched TV probably in 10 years.
Yeah. And that was a game changer for me as well. Like stopping watching the telly. So many successful people, and you say to them, they'll catch Netflix, or they'll create their pockets of self-care time and choose what to watch. But I remember growing up watching the soap opera. Like my mum would watch the soap opera. She still does soap operas, and it's like a conveyor belt. I don't know what you guys have over there. We've got Coronation Street, EastEnders, Hollyoaks. We've got like one after the other to keep you in your seat. And I'm like, I don't want to be in my. I'm not even interested in what it is.
My mind moves too quickly for me to continuously sit down. And so anybody knowing me, because I'm an analyst by nature, I'm always researching. So if you want me to sit down, I'm like, seriously, if I'm sitting in front of the TV now, if I'm sitting down there, I still have my phone, I still have my computer, and I'm researching and I'm looking up stuff.
It is that, isn't it? When you're of an entrepreneurial mindset and your mind is going a million miles an hour. Again, I was talking to my sister about, she can't sit there and watch television anymore. She just doesn't have it in her to sit down and watch it. There's too much to do. There's too many more things that are interesting. So you work within the healthcare industry. So with the healthcare hat on, what is it that you do within the healthcare industry?
So basically, I oversee the revenue cycle. So from the time you actually walk in the door to the time you get your bill and you pay your bill, I see through that whole system. And, you know, making sure, and it could go even further than that, depending on, you know, what the patient need is. I talk to a lot of patients, or I handle a lot. I literally have 13 CFOs that I actually report to. So depending on the day and what I'm doing, if I have to talk to a patient and calm a patient down, I will do that, or kind of go over certain things with a patient so that they actually understand what they're paying for. And especially because we have COVID and we have these different lax things that are actually happening within the healthcare industry because of COVID, really making sure that our patients are educated on that.
And looking after that, for when you say that, we're in the UK and we're really blessed with the NHS, and the NHS has had a big bashing from. It hasn't had a bashing; it's had a lot of love. The government has had a lot of bashing from how it's looked after the NHS. We're so lucky to. If we fall sick, then we just go to the doctors or go to the hospital, and that's it. And the work that you do is so important and integral to the people that access healthcare if they haven't got the insurances in the right place, or they've not got the right kind of cover, or, you know, all of that end-to-end stuff. That's such an involved process. We're so lucky over here in the UK. You are doing what you're doing, because you're in healthcare. You're out on the front line. If you're not in the hospital, then you are having to go to work. You're in an office right now.
Yeah, so I mean, we are on the front line, and, you know, whether that patient, let's say that the patient comes through the ED, and that's where you see a lot of uninsured or, you know, underinsured patients because they don't want to spend the money, and then they actually come through the ED, and then we take it on ourselves to make sure either A, we can get the state funding for that patient, or we can actually get them, you know, charity. And most people in the United States, you know, when they walk into a hospital, they don't know to ask these things. And so that's one of the things, just because I've had my own son die in the hospital, I've become a very big advocate on making sure that patients are very educated on what their rights are.
And it's hard not to, like, from you are such a strong person, and the work that you do is incredible across the spectrum, from everywhere, everything you've come from, everything you know, everything you've experienced. So you still pay your strengths forward, you still do all this incredible work. It's hard not to get emotional when I speak to you, and everything that's been happening in the last week has been heavy. Really, really heavy. And I don't want to shy away from, conversations. I just wanted to say to you, actually, thank you for a live that you did with one of our speakers, Elaine Lucartis. What was it? It was the middle of the night for me. I was like, I was tuning in. I was here.
Well, five things you can do to help as an ally,
Right.
based on the Black Lives Matter, and really what that means. And so I've literally been sharing a lot of that with, like Elaine and some other friends who really didn't understand Black Lives Matter. And people would be like, well, all lives matter. Well, yes, we understand that all lives matter.
Right?
I mean, that's just a given. But what's happening in the world today really has to do with racism. And so it's kind of really going back and explaining that and what you can do. And, I can't say that there's 5 things that you could do, but I think one of the things is really getting out, being educated, asking the questions. If you have Black friends, ask them. I would rather you ask me and let me tell you than you go out and make the mistake. You say so. And then getting out there and making sure, especially here in the United States, is that you're voting. Because everybody thinks it's the president. No, it's legislative and it's judicial. So you need to make sure that you're actually getting out there and doing your due diligence, and also talking in your communities about it. Because I think if you're educating your community, then everybody is pretty much on the same wavelength.
Absolutely. And again, I was saying that it's been a long day, Carly. You have to bear with me.
All right.
I was saying to one of our guests earlier on, the interesting thing is the conversation feels different this time. So it's been a conversation that I've been part of, being in the entertainment world for quite some time, being in the burlesque industry. I got hoyed over the calls a long time ago I got to grips with my white fragility a long time. I don't feel fragile anymore. I'm all right with it. I'm all right. You shout at me, tell me, get angry. I'm here in love. But this time the conversation feels really different. I feel like the troops are just starting, even if there's just some more people. They're very fucking late to the party, but there's some people now moving towards this idea that we can only get over the finish line together. It's not something, it's a fight that we've got to, like, white people have got to be fighting from the inside. If you're sitting on the spike, infiltrate and sort it the fuck out and help and link arms. It feels like that this is coming now from a place of love. There's lots of darkness happening, but the more conversations I have with the likes of you, with the likes of Charnel, with the likes of many people that I've spoken to over the course of the past 2 weeks particularly, is that this feels like the first rumblings of something that happened back in the 60s. It feels like a very important time is kind of, I guess, what I'm saying.
I think probably even back, I told Elaine on, I lived this through my mother. My mother was actually in the 7th Street riot. My mother was in the Woolworth sit-in. So I have literally lived it every day of my life. When you see your mother who had her teeth knocked out by a police officer, dragged to the floor, dog bit her on her arm that she still has. And so when you start to really kind of live this, you really understand, wait a minute, my ancestors fought for me to be here and live the way I should be living. And so I'm going to take advantage of that and not disappoint them. And I think people really need to understand that when you do look back at these things that actually happened in the 60s and the 50s and things that you don't even see today, you wouldn't have seen back then because they were not talked about. My thing is like, okay, I want you to understand, yes, we went through slavery, but I want you to understand there were things that actually came out of slavery. There were things that actually happened, for me, because my family was in that. I had one of my uncles, I should say great uncles, was one of the very first Black people to ride with Jesse James. So history. Understand the history and understand, when you look at the Tuskegee Airmen, when you look at who created penicillin, when you look at who really invented the light bulb, when you look at all of these things,
light bulb,
you've got to go back and really study history to understand this. And so because of that, I think I've just become well educated on my own history, and therefore I'm able to share and educate other people.
And it is, I don't want to sound glib in saying that you're such an inspiration for the work that you do and where you come from in that, because it's very easy to get angry. It would be very easy to say, like, no, go and fucking educate yourselves. I've been here for a long time. Like, don't come asking me now because you've been here you've been living it and it is your lived experience. Carla, we've run out of time and we could just talk all day about all kinds of things. But I just want to be so grateful to you, and I'm praying for you guys over there. I know it's a crazy time, but thank you for all of the work that you do with all of your hats.
Thank you. It
Huge
was
amount of
so
love.
good to be with you. Talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye, my darling. That was
Bye-bye.
Carla Baloo, everybody. What an absolute inspiration. Right. Let's take a quick breath. No, I'm not taking a breath. I'm bringing him in. Dan Meredith, get your ass in here. Hello.
Well, that was a really subtle introduction where I was looking at my phone going, well, I wonder what the fuck's going to happen next. And here I am on screen. Hello, everybody. How are you?
I just thought I'd bring you in because I didn't want to give myself time to either breathe or cry because there was two very, very real options.
Yeah,
then.
I've been watching. That last one was a belter. Thank you very much for that, Carla. I actually really enjoyed your session. I was watching backstage. Dan Meredith, I've had an opportunity to spend some time with you over the course of yesterday. And poor woman.
Conversations. It just means that by the time we get to this point when it's my show, I'm not fangirling over you anymore. I'm not like, oh my God, it's Dan Meredith.
Sure. It still makes me cringe when someone did that. Once someone God, this is the most pretentious post. Thing is, someone tagged me in a post just saying, I just saw Dan Meredith in Waitrose buying some sausages. And I was just kind of like, that's weird. And it's like, and it also made me look like a right tit because Waitrose is the nearest one to me. I'm just basically very lazy, so it just happens to be the nearest supermarket to where I live.
They were Waitrose's own brand. It's fine. We won't talk about it. I'm pouring myself a drink, Dan.
Go for it. You fill your boots.
Are we 10 hours in now?
Have you had a break yet?
No.
Are you going to take a break during this?
Am I allowed to take a break during this?
Do you want to take a break?
I want to have a little sip of my Prosecco and enjoy your glorious face for a second, if that's
thank you. I made my beard extra pointy today. I found some grease to put in it to make it look less feral. Hello, everyone, by the way.
Before I leave you, this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, this is Dan Meredith, author of one of my favorite personal development business books, How to Be Fucking Awesome, which was massively pivotal in a lot of the decisions that I made over the last 4 years. When you said yesterday, how long have we known each other? We're like, I've known you for 4 years. You've known me.
When you take that out of context, sounds horrific.
It's awkward.
I like it.
It's awkward. But the work that you do, you help lots and lots of businesses in lots of different guises, either from copywriting or through your groups, Coffee with Dan, or indeed your membership group, Espresso with Dan. I am going to, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go for a wee and I'm going to let you do some
talk. You know what? I will happily do that. Just so you know, ladies, gentlemen, and identifiers of your choice, I offered to take this lot because I said to Dani, I am more than happy. For some reason, she's trusting me with her audience. So, yeah, we'll see on that one. But more than happy to do this. So, Dani, you go take a break. Come back whenever you want and dive in. I'd love to have some back and forth with you. So, yeah, over to you. Go enjoy your little bathroom break. Yeah, enjoy.
I'll see you in a bit. Dan. Oh, no, not you.
You got rid of me. I'm back again. So
it's you, this the technophone, not me. I'm kicking myself out. I'm going for a week. Take over.
Go for it. So, hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. If you have any questions on any of the things that I say, please do put them in the comments. I'm doing my best. I've got my phone here. I can't see the comments there, so I'll do my best to answer them as and when they come on. But I'm going to talk about 3 things today. So, what I'm known for is getting shit done. Now, I'll say this. I'm not particularly bright or come from a posh background or anything like that. I'm a normal person from a normal background who had a reason to get more done with life. And that reason is situated over there. My little sister. So my little sister is, she's brain damaged. And I remember seeing a program, it would have been in my 20s. I think it was Dispatches, which showed people like my little sister, who were in care homes who weren't treated very nicely. And I thought to myself, oh, fuck, that's not good. So I set myself a goal of being able to support her care. When my mum and dad are no longer here, I want to make sure that she is looked after and safe. But I had worked myself. I'd been successful from a young age. I was in headhunting and then fitness and then consultancy and then copywriting. And I basically, so look, when I say this, look, it's cringe, okay? It is cringe. I'd worked up to an employed sort of six-figure level. I would manage to keep it for about 6 months, burn out. I would be ill, depressed. I'd struggle with drink at times. So I basically worked my bollocks off and got to the point where I was, saving the money and putting things aside and helping out the family and stuff. And then bang, I get slammed back down again and wasn't able to do it. So it wasn't sustainable. So I basically adopted a very aggressive approach and decided to put myself out there and try and find a way to make a difference to both my life, my family's life, and I practice on myself. So when Dani asked me to do this, she said, can you teach some stuff that's practical to help people get through the current situation now and beyond? So I've picked 3 areas that we're going to focus on. And if you have any questions on this, again, please let me know. I will say, first question though, before I answer that, is that I always start all my talks with this, because this, you out there in the internet, you are not my people. And what I mean by that is, this is Dani's platform, this is Dani's show. And I've got to be honest, just while she's not here, if you can take a moment to give her some big love on this, because I've seen the work from behind the scenes that she's been doing. It is insane. So I'm actually really genuinely proud of Dani and what she's done during times which are absolutely stressful as fuck right now. This is awesome. So Dani, personally, thank you on that one. But I always say this at the start of every single talk I ever do, and it's about 6 inches. And there's 6 inches which I can never, ever get my hands on. And that is between here. So it's your right to think, feel whatever you want about me. Even if you listen to the things that I'm about to say and you think, what a bearded bellend, that's completely fine. That is your sovereign right to think and feel whatever you want. Whatever you want at all. So even if your biggest takeaway from this is, dear God, I don't ever want to be like him, then it's worthwhile you watching. So thank you for attending. I appreciate it. So the 3 areas I'm going to cover are selfishness, shamelessness. Look, you can tell being professional, I've wrote stuff down. For those of you that have followed me for a while will know that's normal. And structure. So we're going to do it in an order. I've written it down. I put the word 1 next to it. So this is the first thing I'm going to start with. I feel so professional. Hold on. Put it there. There we go. So selfishness. Now, I'm going to ask the question to all of you. Do any of you here struggle with being selfish, as in putting time aside for yourself, as in putting time aside for you to do the things that you need to do? Is this something that you struggle with? And I will say this, having worked with lots of different clients, all genders, races, all over the world, this is something I see a lot more women struggle with than men. I find women are a little bit more selfless than men. Not that saying men aren't, I'm trying not to be, but I've just seen a lot of ladies who put so much time and effort into others, their families, their friends, their relationships and everything. And guys a little less so. Not that they don't at all. It's just that women tend to put a lot of people ahead of others. And this is something that it's natural. Me, myself, I've done this since I was a little kid, apparently. So I read a school report from my mum, and it said, Daniel consistently puts the needs ahead of his others, often to his own detriment. We do it. So I had to learn this as well myself, because what I've realized is by continually putting everyone else ahead of me, so that's ahead of my own mental health, physical health, spiritual health, financial health. What happened is that I was giving my energy and my time freely, and I happily do so. I really enjoyed it, what I do day to day. But by doing that, what I wasn't able to do, I was trying to basically build something off a really unstable foundation, because I hadn't done the work that I needed for me to be able to serve people at a high level. So talk about my story on this. So I got to a successful level, hold it for a bit, bang, would burn out again. Not particularly useful, really, is it? So I remember having a chat with my parents, who are also staying with me. They came to move in just for a couple of weeks in between moving houses, and 3.5 months later, they're still here, but it's good fun having them here. But I say this, I remember having a chat to them, and I was working hard, and I had to cancel going to university to start off with because money was a bit tight. And I said, you know what? And I was always trying to help as best I could, but I thought I'm going to be selfish for 1 year. I said, give me 1 year to see if I can make a difference, to see if I can change. And everything that I have now has been off the back of that. Now, it may be easy for me to say with the situation I have now and how I've chosen consciously to set my life up, but all of you, every one of you watching, you don't need permission to be selfish. You need to carve out some time for you to work on what you need to work on now. Deep down, like I've done thousands. I think I'm close to just over 3,000 coaching calls and consulting calls now in the last 8 years. Okay. So I've spoken to a lot of people, an awful lot of people. Pretty much most of you, give or take, know what you need to do. You know the area that you are weakest on right now, and you think, I haven't got time to do that. So my personal one right now, business is good. Mindset is good now. For me, the physical health had something that had taken a back seat because I put all my time and energy into growing the business, then getting my head sorted and in the right frame of mind for growth. But now my focus is on me and my health and my fitness and my nutrition and so on and so forth. So understand, you being selfish and you talking to your colleagues, your partner, your friends, your children, and taking a small amount of time a day for you is not selfish. Because what happens is a lot when you give away your energy and your time and resources massively, which again, I'm a big believer in servitude and giving back. When you do that consistently, there's nothing left for you. And you end up becoming a bit of an empty vessel. You forget all the things that made you happy, all the things that made you light up, all the things that you want to do, your dreams, your hopes, your visions, so on and so forth. All of you, if you take away one thing from this little segment on selfishness here, is think to yourself, either one, how can I get some time for me? Okay, so where could I find that time in my diary, with my commitments, with everything that I have going on? Where can I find? And if you can't find it, if you're thinking, fuck, I haven't got a clue where I can get this from, then you need to have some honest and hard conversations with your loved ones, your nearest and dearest, and actually put that aside. I remember speaking to my team, to my mentor, and everyone in my life, and I said, right, I am looking after, and I've got, unfortunately, my dad's not too well right now, so I'm physically looking after my family. I've got a team to support. I've got thousands of clients, and I've got hundreds of thousands of people that follow me across Facebook who expect me to show up on a day-to-day basis. If I go down, I'm fucked. That's okay. I'm not too worried about me. I'm pretty tough. But it's the trickle-down effect to everyone else. So yes, I put things like systems in place and we've got savings and all that kind of grown-up stuff. But if I don't do the things to keep Dan going, I will break down and I will not be able to do what it is I need to do for the longer-term vision and for the bigger ideas that I need to have forward. So I will say to you, being selfish is not a bad thing. Being selfish will actually help you achieve more from your life than you have ever expected. I always thought putting others first was the most important thing, and giving a shit about other people and actually truly giving a shit is crucial to being just a decent fucking human being. But you have to look after yourself first. So also be critical with yourself right now and think to yourself, where am I lacking? Which area of my life do I need to improve right now? That should be your focus. And just for starters, maybe just find 1 hour a day which you can carve aside for you to do the thing you need to do. Start off small. That's something I would definitely say to you, is to find something where you can commit to. And here's the thing. I've always said this to people. It's much easier to have it in your phone a certain time every day. That is yours. You just keep it. It could be for working on business. It could be for working on your fitness. It could be working on, doing mindset exercise. I don't know. You'll know what you need to work on. I don't. You do. But what I'll say to you is this, is have it in your diary, blanked out every day. It is a non-negotiable. You don't book anything in. You don't take any calls. You turn off your notifications. That is your time for you to be you and do what you need to do for you. If you constantly give, you will get to the point where you get bitter and resentful and annoyed because your dreams, your hopes, your ideas all go to shit because you've given it away to everyone else. I'm not saying stop caring about those people in your life that you love dearly or your clients or anything like that at all. But understand there's only so much of you that you can go around. You cannot help so put it this way. If you help yourself, you can in turn help more people. That's it. You help you get yourself sorted, look after yourself, make sure your health, wellness, happiness, spirituality, finances, whatever it is you want to work on, whatever it is sorted. And then you can go out and help others. Someone's already said it in the thread. You simply cannot pour from an empty cup. So we're going to start. That's why I start with selfishness. So it's not selfish. You're actually looking after the future of you and all the other people that you can serve. If you break down, if you stop working, if things go wrong in your life, if you get unwell, unhappy, you lose things go to shit, your head goes to pot, you can't do anything. So a little bit of time consistently, and I said this is the thing that changed my life. It's every single day. Block it out, Monday to Sunday, time for you to work on the one thing. So fucking cheesy, but you hear that, deep down you need to work on. Little exercise that I do as well. This looks like such a shitty picture. It's not, but I just forget the order. I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to get it here. So I made a planner some years ago for me because I couldn't fucking remember anything. So these are questions I do every quarter. So the first one is, why the fuck am I doing this? So what's the reason? Second one, who the hell am I doing this for? Third one, and what do I want my life to look like in 12 weeks? That's what I start with. And then there it is there. That's what I'm going to show you about. It's got a monthly life audit. I'll just hold it up to the screen. So you've got business, bank balance, network, career, relationships, friendships, fitness, and rest and relaxation. Write those out and rank yourself out of 10. Okay? 10 being awesome, nailed it, got it covered. 1 being, dear God, I'm fucked. Okay? And whichever one, maybe 2, is the lowest, just focus on that for the next 30 days. That's it. And then you do the audit again in 30 days' time, and you see where those scores are. And it's just a nice, simple way to keep yourself on track. And you can see the numbers changing. And what you find is, and this is something I was talking with a friend of mine who's in the fitness industry, and I've been saying how better. I'm under an immense amount of stress right now, but because I focused on my nutrition and my fitness and that element of my life right now, I've been kind of almost like toughening myself up for things that are coming my way in the future, for future Dan. But because it's given me focus and something to work on, I'm able to be a better Dan. It's that simple. My discipline that I've applied to myself from the fitness side of things has bled into my friendships, my relationships, my colleagues, with my business work, so on and so forth, because it's all applicable. So even though business was good, the fact that I'm more driven, it's bled into that. I'm sleeping better. I feel better. And trust me, considering where I was starting from, I look better. Okay, so that's right. So it's a big one on that one. So the next one is going to be a little bit more practical. So I've talked to you about being selfish and carving some time aside for yourself. The next one is structure. Now, for any of you who have followed me for a period of time or have aware of some of the shenanigans that I've got to, you wouldn't necessarily think that I'm a fairly structured person, but I touched on that with we call it a dentist chair in my world. Taught to me from one of my very first coaches ages ago, and he used to call it our dentist chair, which is basically, reason being is because when you go to the dentist, you just block out an hour or so, and it's just like it's done. You're not going to do anything before or after it. It's just a dentist session. So I have that hour in my diary every day to work on the one thing I need to work on. But there's a little thing that I do for basically getting more done from life, full stop. This came from when I was back at a personal trainer back in the day from a chap called Keith. And he told me he was very, very successful, very goal driven. Keith would have been in his late 40s when I met him as my client, and he had a really simple way of working. And he said his old boss told him, and he's very, very, very successful in the IT world. And he said, do no more than 5, but no less than 3 important things every day. And initially you think 3 to 5 things, that doesn't really sound very much, but it changed my life. Because what I did is, I remember on a Sunday night, I did a bit of a brain dump. And I wrote out everything I had to do. And I still remember the number. It was 169 things that I had to do. And I was just like, I can't do that. So I learned to rank everything. So 1 was like super critical, mega important. It was, only I could do it. It made money. It was crucial to my family, my own health, something like that. It was crucial. 2 was kind of like fairly important, needs to get done at some point. 3 is kind of like, yeah, get it done whenever. And what I realized is when I ranked things in that order, I started off with like, I don't know, 50 ones and then a mixture of 2s and 3s. And I thought, well, those ones, there cannot be that many things that are that critical to my life right now. So then I sort of would drill down again, and I got to the point where I would literally put 3 to 5 of those ones in my diary, and I'd plot them in the diary throughout the week, Monday to Friday, and then I'd do some other stuff on the Saturday. And then I said, as long as I get those 3 to 5 things done every day, I am moving that needle closer towards my goals, business, personal, health, whatever it is. So that was something that I started doing, and I refined it over time. And what I realized is that a lot of the 2s and 3s were often stuff that was important to other people. It was stuff people wanted doing for them. It was for their needs, their wants, their desires. Thinking, well, I'm doing this stuff for those people, which is cool, still important stuff. But I'm like, is that actually adding to my goals and putting me in the direction I want to go in? And I found out it wasn't. And then I realized a lot of the time is that I was doing stuff for other people, and then I just focused on the 1s and the 2s and 3s. If it's important, and this is something I've learned, this sounds really like dismissive, and I don't mean it at all. What you find is, if it's important to someone, they will follow up with you. They will chase you. They will get in your inbox. There is a reason I am here live speaking to you now. I'm not going to go hammer home about my personal situation with my dad at the moment, but it's not fantastic. My time is extremely precious. I'm not going to be a complete dickhead and say, oh, my time is valuable, because, yeah, I do have a price tag associated with my time, but it's not that. It's just time is the one thing you can't get back. So if it's important enough to someone else, they will hound you and they will make it happen. And what I've realized is that when I started letting go of those 2s and 3s, it was important to them. It wasn't important to me, my business, my team, my family, so on and so forth. And the reason I'm here is because this, and I'm glad to be doing this, beyond glad to, was important to Dani. So Dani hounded the fuck out of me. And there she is now, didn't you?
Look, I got this T-shirt for us. Look, I changed my store and I made it awkward.
You
Which
did.
is exactly what I did.
But as I was saying about this, why are people asking how tall I am? Oh my God, some thirsty. Hello. See, ladies, I appreciate the thirst. I'm 6 foot tall, if you wish to know. Thank you very much.
Wallace is part of the thirst. You're in Wallace's 5%.
Oh, fun. Outstanding. That's good to know. But as I was saying here, so when you understand how things are kind of almost weighted in people's minds, you'll realize that if it's important to them, they'll chase up with you, they'll follow up. And I'm not saying be dismissive and act like you're better than anyone else. It's not that at all. But you've got to understand your time is limited, and you've got to focus on the stuff which impacts first. Think of it like a dartboard. Your center is you. You're in the center. You are stupidly fucking important. Next circle round that is like your immediate family, your super close circle. This is like your ride or die people. Yeah. And I have two. I think about, if you think about like the red in the dartboard followed by the green. Okay. The inner circle is people that I would take a bullet for. They take a bullet for me. Outer circle is people who would take a kicking for me, and I take a kicking for them. So it's kind of like the level of input of them. It's, the closer you are to me, more I'll do for you, but then equally more, they'll probably do for me. And then the further out it goes, the less important it actually is at the end of the day. This was chased. So you chased me on this, and I'm happy. But this is important. Mm-hmm. This is important. And you told me, obviously, I'm not going to, you've told your story enough. But it's, as you said, it's the small amount that you donate can make a big difference. And that's why I'm doing it. And it's awesome. And I'm really proud to be a part of it and really proud to support it, because honestly, I haven't got any kids of my own at the moment, but I fucking love kids. And I think, ladies, you have a really tough job bringing up little fruitcakes like myself and my sister and stuff. And the idea of, some of the things that you've told me that, you've gone through is fucking appalling. It's horrible. I hate bullies. I hate nasty people. But that's why, even though I would have done this anyway, but the fact is my inbox is gross. It's disgusting. Yeah. I get 100 to 150 messages per day across the different ones. So this is it. So understanding, if you want something, you go after it, which leads me, I accidentally have done a really good talk here. I didn't plan this at all.
I love it.
It leads me into my final point.
Boom.
Which is show. Oh shit! I read the wrong one.
It's shit.
It's shit. Yeah, it's just shit. Is being shameless. Now, this, for those of you who are looking at me thinking, well, it's all right for you, Dan. You're a bit of a live wire. You're a character, confident, all this kind of stuff. I 100% was not at all. I'm naturally, I'm a complete nerd. I love. Do you know what? Fuck it.
Do it.
I don't care. I'm going to get my show.
Do it.
It's only, it wasn't planned. It's only over here.
I love it. Here's one he made earlier. He's planned this.
I haven't. Hold on. Where
Yeah,
is it?
you are.
I need to find the good. I need to find the good ones. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, bollocks. Well, I'll get this one. This will do. Right. Anyway, so when I was a little kid, okay, super shy little kid. I love wildlife. I love painting. I love drawing. I think I read 160 books by the time I was. But you know what I used to love doing? I used to love painting little space miniatures like these, okay? And this is for Warhammer 40,000. And you know what? I was a grown up, okay? And I'm going to tell you one of my favorite little stories because I worked hard. And I remember I went to, it's called Games Workshop. And I went in there and I bought everything. I bought all the things I couldn't afford when I was a kid. So I was allowed one £5 miniature. That was all we could spare when I was younger per month. That's it. It's all I could have. And I went in, I bought everything. It was fucking amazing. And I said, can you close the shop? And it's like, you don't need to. There's no one in. But I said, I want to feel like a special person. And they did. And it was amazing. Shop,
it's special hours just for Dan Meredith, everybody.
It's sorry. But what I'm saying is I was naturally a really quiet, shy, introverted kid. Okay. And I remember seeing extroverts and thinking, oh, they've got all the things. And it's like they seem to have everything. And, they had, loads of money, success, really good looking partners, loads of opportunities. And I was a very shy, quiet kid. And I just thought to myself, well, I can't be like them, but they seem to just go after stuff and just try things. And that's exactly what I started doing. I have gotten into some of the most ridiculous circles, networks. I've got some of the most, again, mates, genuine friends that are like, oh, look at my internet buddy that I paid £50 for a photo with. Genuinely hyper successful people. My mentor gets hammered, mainly by me, but by people that want to work there. It took me, I think, 6 months to get. I'm a shameless little shit. And if there is something or someone or an opportunity or a connection that I want to go for, the worst thing that happens is you get a no or you get ignored. Right. Now, I consciously thought, because I was such a shy little quiet kid, I forced myself to go into jobs that it scared me a little bit. So I went into hardcore headhunting and recruitment, and I was a doorman for a period of time. So 2 areas. I was not a naturally good fighter, not violent at all, and I was very shy. So I thought, right, fuck it, let's do some stuff that really terrifies me. And I put myself in situations that I thought, oh God, sink or swim. I don't recommend that for everyone. I'm just saying to you, that's what I chose to do.
You're a man after my own heart. Like, absolutely. Being shameless is the way to be.
I did. And I had to smile and dial like hundreds of times a day. And bear in mind, I spoke to thousands, tens of thousands of people over the years. Nothing bad happens, really. I think I've been told... So I think it said, stop fucking emailing me. I think this is the worst thing I've had with a swear word in. But I've either been hung up on or ignored. That's it. But all the amazing stuff I have, like the book, like the network, like the fact that I've managed to punch ridiculously out of my league, like the fact that I've gone to cool places and gone to cool events and just had fun because I'm just shameless. The worst thing that happens is what I've just said there. So for those of you who are sat at home, one thing that I have found is for me during lockdown is there's a lot of time for reflection. There's a lot of time to think. And because most of us, loads of people barely ever walked. And as soon as you've got your government sanctioned walk, you're like, well, I'm at it. I'm taking my walk.
Taking one walk a day.
Sometimes I took 2.
Oh, you bad sod.
I am. I'm a rule breaker. Yes. They didn't say no, I'm not supposed to shut down. Yeah, be quiet. Just take a pause. Anyway, as I was saying, so I had a lot of time you walk in, you think and stuff. And then what I've seen a lot of people do, because obviously it's in my groups and stuff, is reflect on where they are in their life, what they want from their life. And they're like, oh, this is a bit shit. And okay, everyone, I've been in that situation. I remember, genuinely, if you've read my book, you'll know this. I got to the point I had £22 to last me 6 weeks. I had to take a doorman's job when I was in London. I had no money, and I was actually going behind the club where I worked. It was a Pret a Manger, and just nicking the day sandwiches out of the bins before it was the middle of summer, the heat wave of mid noughty, sorry. And I was literally yoinking the sandwiches out, and I was happy. I was like, cool, that was it. I had nothing at that point. I was very proud, and I was going to do it, but I shamelessly put myself out there and pitched for jobs, and I ended up doing okay off the back of it. But if you're not in a situation where you don't like it right now, you're unhappy, things aren't right, whatever it is, that's okay. That's your situation now. I mean, I say this with love, Dani. Fuck me. Where you were,
Yeah.
I'd have given up, mate. I've got to be honest with you. I didn't know,
I think
I
did.
didn't know. Yeah, well, I didn't, the other me and Dani were speaking the other day, and I didn't realize she'd had a period of homelessness. And I was like, where did that come from? We hadn't discussed that before. But understanding this is you could be in the lowest of the fucking low right now. And you know what? I empathize with you, and throw yourself a pity party. Enjoy it. Eat some cakes, have a couple of drinks, have a cry, whatever it is you need to do, yeah? Then draw a line, write shit down, rank stuff, figure out what you're going to do. If you don't know where to start, just start doing something. You have this, okay? There's everything you need in there somewhere. You can find email addresses, you can network people. The worst that happens then is no. So start putting yourself out there, trying for opportunities, putting yourself forward for a job you may not want to get, sliding into those DMs of someone you've had a thing for ages, reaching out to the influencer or I hate this fucking word. Sorry, fuck influencers. Sorry, total side point. Reaching out to that person you think, oh, you know, I don't know if they're going to be interested in what I have to bring to the table, but you don't know until you try. And honestly, I'm going to say with this whole lockdown shit show is that now is probably a lot of you are thinking, what am I doing in my life? Is this where I want to go? Is this what I want to do? And if it's not, that's okay. That is okay. It is completely okay. But take action.
Absolutely.
To change it.
Absolutely. Dan Meredith, I want you to go back and read the comments because they've all been really naughty.
Thirsty women.
I'll let you do that in your own time because we're heading on into our next segment now. But can I just say this has been one of my favourite sessions of the day because I managed to have a wee. I'm not seeing yellow anymore. I think
I'm basically just call me piss break from now on. Don't worry about any. It's cool. I printed stuff out. When do I ever do this? But no, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Give some money. If you haven't got any money, find someone who has, make them give it to you. It's a good cause. Thank you for those of you who haven't experienced this nonsense. Sorry. I hope you enjoyed it. I am who I am, but Dani, you're an absolute fucking gem. I don't need smoke blowing up my ass, as gorgeous as it is. Fucking not. I don't just say that. I can't believe. But seriously, can you give some love to Dani? Because I know what she's putting behind the scenes. I've done stuff like this before. I know how fucked you are by the end of it. Awesome what you're doing, mate. Congratulations. Keep going. And thank you, everyone. I'm out of here. See you soon.
You're an angel. Bye-bye. That was Dan Meredith, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Honestly, he is an absolute firecracker. I got up all in his grill and I was like, Dan, hey, Dan. I was very shameless. You're awesome. I, too, am awesome. Get onto my thing. And he was like, do you know what, Dani? Yes, that's what exactly I'm going to do. And that is exactly what he did. And he did not let us down. Right. Whew. I am not having any more breaks now. That is us on the way to the end. Wallace, can we have an update? Give me an update. Wallace, are you there? I'm putting you on the stream. Are you ready, Wallace? He's muted. He's turned his camera off. His shit. Wallace, where are you?
Yeah, you whiff.
How are you? You all right?
I'm fan-dabby dozy. These brew dogs are bloody lovely.
I am not a whiff. I'm enjoying my glass of Prosecco. Cheers, my angel.
Cheers, flower.
How are we doing?
I'm just typing it now. Jesus.
Oh, for crying out loud. Will you real? Like, you can't get the staff. Look how glowy your head is.
Well, that's because there's a window next to me head. Sorry.
You've got a beautiful glow.
Exposure. Now.
Right. I've got to pop you off screen because I know you don't like it. Stop it. £14,500. You guys are amazing. Keep it going. We are heading on into
Oh my God, it's Dr. Ranj next, isn't it?
I know it's Dr. Ranj. I know I'm very excited myself. And it's also Chrissy. Look at Chrissy. Chrissy's excited. Chrissy from Habit Breaker is our sponsor for this half hour. Hello, my darling. How are you?
Hi, I am absolutely £14,500, Dani. Come on.
I know we're doing really, really well, but quick, we haven't got very long. Tell us, Christine, Habit Breaker. Wagwan, talk to us.
Right, okay. Obviously, alcohol is massively something that fuels domestic violence. And even the statistics now, you're saying that it's gone up 100% week on week. So it's at 700%. The alcohol sales and consumption have gone up unbelievably. I mean, it says here 8.6 million adults are drinking more now. So of course there's going to be a rise in domestic violence. And, you know, the reason I chose Dr. Ranj is it's Dr. Ranj.
Oh, look, he's blushing in the back. I can see him backstage. He's blushing.
Oh
We'll
my
be with you in
God.
a second. So you sponsored the. He's like this. He's fanning himself. Look, I'll bring him on in a second. I daren't bring you on at the same time as Christine because I think she'll have a coronary. We might need your services for real. But Chrissy, you're frozen. Are you there? Oh, if Chrissy's frozen, I'm going to have to let her go. It's a terrible situation. Do you know what? She spontaneously combusted. Christine, right, where have you gone? She's gone. I'm going to have to pop her backstage. I can't believe it. She froze. Dr. Ranj, I'm going to bring you through. Hello.
Hello.
Christine just spontaneously combusted backstage.
Just like that, she's gone.
I was
kind of enjoying the little chat.
Do you know what? She sponsored the spot as soon as I announced you, as soon as you'd agreed to do it. She's, look, I just want to show you her face. Christine, look.
Somebody screenshot this, please.
I'm going to take a picture. Oh, do you know what?
Oh
She's
my
been so
God.
excited. I'm going to take, are you ready, you guys? We're going to
Thank
smile.
you. I'm glad someone is.
Smile, Christine. Look, she's made up. Right, that's Christine. She's our sponsor from Habit Breaker. She's absolutely thrilled. As soon as I announced that he was going to be joining us today, Dr. Ranj, Christine was the first person on the phone to say, I want to sponsor his slot. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind. Thank you. And what are we up to now?
So we are up
did
to
you say we were up to?
£14,500.
Wow, 14.5. Do you know what I'm going to do, Dani? I'm going to top that up to 15 right now.
Really? I've cried every time we've done an update. I can't cry. I've been too excited about speaking to you.
That's my pledge. I'll top that up to 15. So people keep donating. We're now at
Amazing.
£15,000.
Right, so it's everyone else's job to take us in this half an hour up to £16,000. Otherwise, I'm coming for
come
you.
on, let's
Thank
get it
you
up to 16.
so much for joining me today. I am absolutely
My
thrilled
pleasure.
and honoured to have you as a part of it. We were introduced through a mutual friend of ours who launched her book last week, Mug the Wumph and the Dancing Wizard. I've got to give Nicola Rowley a huge shout out for the connection. Because she sent you a message and straight away you got back to her and you was like, I'd love to be a part of it.
Absolutely. She so you sent me a little video message and
I made you a little video. Yeah.
I don't get very many videos. And do you know what it was? There was something about it. You captivated me straight away. And I thought, and it was, I didn't know what the cause was going to be right until quite close to the end of the video. And as soon as you said that, I was like, yes, I'm absolutely 100% part of this. And it's just I think you're amazing for what you're doing. I think you're amazing for your story. Obviously, Dan's already blown a lot of smoke in various places.
Well, I'm all right. I'm here for it. Like, go for it.
Great.
Don't happen very often. I'm like, I'm not.
I know. Enjoy it. Love it. But yeah, no, I absolutely wanted to be a part. And thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for having me.
Well, let's get into the nitty gritty, shall we? Because we've got the gorgeous Emma Kenny joining us as well.
Love her.
So if you don't mind, she's going to come and gate crash and have a brew with us, if that's all right.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. So when she's backstage, I will bring her through, and we can have a three-way, which I never thought I would ever say in a million years to you.
Well, it's been a while, Dani. It's been a while. We've all been in lockdown. I live by myself. It's been a long time. I'll take whatever I can get.
Things I never thought I would say, but things that people that watch me would never in a million years put past me either. So now that we've been there, the world's our oyster. Dr. Ranj, tell us about your lockdown. How's it going? Tell me what you've been up to.
Yeah, that's a wagwan. Yeah.
I can't help it.
Love it. I love it. So I've been busy in lockdown. Before lockdown, I was running around like a blue-ass fly. So when it all quietened down, it was a bit of a blessing for me because I thought I get to spend a bit more time at home. I get to sort all these things that had piled up at home. I get to sort some of that. I don't know if you can see. I'm glad you can't see behind me, but there's a massive pile of clothes in various bags that I'm donating to charity just over there.
I have this sign there covering my entire bedroom. Like you don't want to see what's going on behind there.
I've been Marie Kondoing the crap out of my wardrobe today. So I'm doing all those things that I wanted to do for ages. I've been working in hospital as well, so I've been doing a lot more of that. I've been writing a book. I've just written a children's book that is coming out in November. It's called A Superhero Like You, and it celebrates people on the front lines. It's a little girl who wants to grow up to be a superhero, but wants to be a real life superhero, like a doctor or a nurse or I was going to say a fire person, a fireman or firewoman.
A fire person, we're right, aren't we? We've got to get it right.
So yeah, I've been doing that. I've launched a podcast with some doctor friends of mine called Steth's Drugs and Rock and Roll. And I've been doing a little bit of filming here and there wherever we can. And yeah, just keeping myself busy. But yeah, it's been weird. I'm sure everyone's going to say, like, in a strange way, I still feel like I haven't achieved what I wanted to do. Like, I kind of feel like I've really started to beat myself up saying, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. And actually, as Dan said, you've just got to let it be. Just enjoy it. You know, if you're having a crap day, have your crap day. Let yourself feel that, and then pick yourself up and say, do you know what? Every little victory really counts. It really, really does.
And that's it. You're so at the top of this whole situation. So many people are like, right, I'm going to learn a new skill. I'm going to launch a new business. I'm going to do all these kinds of crazy things. And then
Stuff all of that.
Right. And then I'm here, I'm trying to run my little empire from my bedroom as some stage manager and also coordinating homeschool keep them fed and alive and not feral, which I'm failing miserably at. But there's just no way that I could allow myself to maintain that pressure for perfection.
Yeah. Also, you're homeschooling. Homeschooling is a job. You're trying to do like so many different jobs. But let's be honest, you know, teaching is a profession for a reason. You go to university to learn how to teach.
Right.
All of a sudden, all these parents are like, I have no clue what I'm doing. And I'm like, look, if you manage to get an hour a day, you're good.
Yeah. And taking that pressure from perfection away from yourself is as soon as you allow it, as soon as you allow the bandwidth, actually everybody relaxes and everyone's much happier. You're not like everybody out of bed at 9 o'clock in the morning. Actually, I've got to go live. As soon as I've gone, do you know what? Have the screen time, make the TikToks, trade on Roblox. And at some point, like this week, like for example, I've been asked to speak at a rally at one of the marches, which I was just made up and really humbled to be asked to be part of. But I got to be able to, from a socially distant point of view, take my kids along to that. So if I think mum school looks a little bit different to just doing all the maths and all that kind of business.
Yeah, and remember, it's more about life school right now. And put it this way, and I was talking to someone about this earlier. For lots of kids, they go to school to do school, and then when they come home, it's their sanctuary. So if we've had to convert homes into schools, kids don't necessarily have anywhere to sort of vent or deflate or decompress. So you've got to bear that in mind. And secondly, there's so much horrible stuff going on in the world at the moment. It's so hard out there. Lots and lots of, you've touched on it. And the very reason you're doing this is about some of the stuff that's happening. Let's take the rest of the time that we have together to do something fun, to do something nice, to enjoy it, because we're never going to get this again. Right. We're never going to get this opportunity. If the homeschooling isn't working, throw it out the window. Well, don't throw it out the window, but put it to one side and have some quality time doing something nice. Watch a film, go out on a march, go for a walk, do some arts and crafts, paint.
I feel like you've just given me permission.
Whatever.
I'm like, yes, Dr. Ange, that's exactly
absolutely. What I'm go and bake some banana bread. Everybody seems to be making banana bread.
Your girl's not cooking. I'm cooking, but I'm not baking. I can't bake. It's a science that I just haven't got to grips. I make the most beautiful, wonderful Mediterranean food and all that kind of business, but I can't bake a banana bread. I might have to master that next just to say it's not beating me, because I'm one of those people who you can't tell me I can't do something. I'm telling myself I can't make banana bread.
Yeah. It's not easy as people think, and don't worry, it's not a banana bread competition, people. Let's just have fun with it.
Yeah, just calm down, everybody, with your banana bread. We're just trying to survive. And like you say, we don't know what being in the medical profession. It must be difficult. You know, you've got your ear to the floor in a different way. We're not going to find ourselves in this position again, but there's nothing to say that in the future this might be a regular thing, and we've got to work it out. It's new to everybody, and how do we can't expect perfection of ourselves with something new. Everything that we talk about in this community is you starting perfectly. You've got to start perfectly.
We're all learning.
Right.
We're all learning, right? We've never been here before. We're learning new skills. We're learning new ways to cope. We're learning a new normal. And as you said, you don't know how long this is going to go on for. We don't know if it's going to go away and then come back. We're just kind of watching this space. So in the meantime, try to minimize the stresses in your life. And cope with them. I know that some people are able to do that more than others. People are luckier than others.
Yeah.
But whatever, and this is why I think a lot of people have developed a lot of anxiety during lockdown, is because they're trying to control the uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And I say, make a list of the stuff you can control, make a list of the stuff that you can't, and the stuff that you can control, work on that, and chip away at that. That's what's going to make you feel good. Everything else will sort itself out.
And it is just that, it's controlling. As an anxiety sufferer, one of the first things when I started to do the work on myself was to write down the things like, what do I have control over today? What can I do right now, right in this minute? That it's going to take me to the next minute, and then what can I control right now, right in this minute? And then it all unfolds and happens in front of you. Dr. Raj, we have backstage, in the green room area.
In the green room area.
We've got a green room area on stream. So here's the thing. I don't know if you know, but right at the start of lockdown, I decided I was going to go live every morning, Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. on Facebook, just to get myself out of bed. And it's evolved into this. So I kind of created a monster. But StreamYard, like, it looks like the telly. I've made myself a fake telly channel.
I love it. This is like one of those dial-a-thons that you get on telly, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's just like the Big Festoon. We've got a whole brand. Next year, we're going to have a big budget. We're going to make it on the telly and all that sort of stuff. I have no idea how that's going to happen, but I didn't know how I was going to like this. Like, I'd never thought in a million years 5 weeks ago that me and you were going to be having this conversation. When we were making the videos, I was in my front room. You've seen, I made everybody a
very nice. Very nice.
Because I'm completely shameless, and people. And again, I got my dream list. Pretty much everybody on my dream list. You, Dan, I got Lisa Johnson, loads, Emma, and we were laughing as we're writing your name down. And you're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm asking Dr. Ange to be on my lineup. What do you think I'm doing?"
If you don't try, you will never know. That's the thing. If you've got nothing to lose, I just think give it a go. That's what I've done with my entire career, to be honest. But you've got nothing to lose, and you've got everything to gain. There's no harm in trying. There really isn't. And I try to help out wherever I can feasibly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you must get asked to do loads of things all the time. So the fact that you're here with us is just a massive honor. I know how.
My pleasure.
With lots and lots of friends that are in the entertainment industry, we get asked to do all kinds of crazy stuff. And Natasha got asked to read out a quiz, question number 7 for somebody's birthday. Like, will you come and read out question number 7 for somebody's birthday? And she's like, no, I'm not. I want to bake banana bread with Ella. Like, she. So
that's the thing. Like, it would be lovely to help out with absolutely everything we get asked to do, and I honestly tried to do my best. But it got to, not so long ago, it got to a point where I was taking too much on, and it started taking its toll on me. And I thought, oh gosh, I need to stop saying yes. I had to learn to say no, and I hate saying no. I hate it, but I had to think. I thought to myself, I came to a point where I thought, if I don't start saying no, I'm going to burn out.
Yep.
And that really changed things for me. We, like you said, we'd love to do everything, but sadly we can't. We're only human.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Anne, shall I bring Emma Kenny into the fray?
Yeah.
Let us bring her into the conversation. Emma, hello.
Hi. There she is.
I feel right at home in this lineup, you guys. Like, I am here for this. I am enjoying this space. Like, I just curated like my perfect situation. You guys, I'm going to take a selfie right now. I'm not even shy about it. Be a smile for me. Are you ready?
All right.
Look at my happy face. Look. Oh,
I'm so cheesy.
Emma. Hello, my darling.
How are you doing? Good. Yeah. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. We had a conversation on the phone yesterday, didn't we, Emma?
We did.
And whilst we had that conversation, I was like, right, and can you come on at 4:30? Because we've got a slot and I don't know what to do. And I didn't want to ask, but now I'm asking because I really want to speak to you. And he was like, yeah, no problem, Dani. And at the same time, Tessa Sanderson was like, I'm going to come on and take your heart more. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then I thought, right, I know what I'm going to do. I want to speak to Dr. Angie and Emma at the same time. And then we're going to talk about all the things we spoke about yesterday. So you guys have worked with each other. Is this right?
Yeah. We're part of the This Morning family. We're really lucky. So I know Dr. Rand because of that and all the work that he does everywhere.
Yeah. We've worked together for years and years and years, and Emma is one of my favorite people. Whenever I need,
you are as well.
Whenever I need calming down or peeling off the ceiling, listen to anything that Emma does. Your voice is lovely, Emma, and I love your meditations that you do. They're so good.
You love my meditations. I always think that, like, in real life, when you know me, I just have a really broad Northern Manc accent. But when I do a meditation, I think somehow I transcend that. But really, I'm pretty rough.
So
we all know
It
that.
gets really smooth and really eloquent and really clipped.
Yeah, I'm completely rough in reality.
You do put on this very sort of professional
soothing,
voice.
Soothing.
Yeah,
I'm currently wearing an all-in-one boiler suit because I'm in survivalist mode. I'm like prepared for the apocalypse and everything. Like
I wear sweats all the time.
Yeah, like look at this. This is like
slippers.
this is a whole. Yeah, it's
a whole mood.
I'm wearing this today.
I'm ready to rock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm in 100-year-old Uggs. That's where I am. So
I love it.
It's cool.
I got some rainbow happening as well. Like I can join you in the party.
I'm loving rainbow.
It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month.
Then. Oh my God.
It is indeed.
Right, put that to one side. Only because I nearly just garroted myself like live on my face.
Don't be doing that live. That would get a lot of hits. It would get a lot of hits.
Strange girl who calls herself the Queen Bee garrots herself live with This Morning team. I don't know. It would work.
Ironically, with two people apparently who know their way around well-being.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Emma, we spoke yesterday about something that you're working on at the minute, actually, that is in keeping with some of the things that Dr. Angie and I were just talking about with regards to creating space and looking after your mental health, especially now more than ever. It's a real conversation. We're being given a lot of language around it right now, which means that people are putting the spotlight on it. And the work that you're doing really speaks to that right now, doesn't it? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Oh, I mean, the work that I do is kind of really interesting because I obviously cross-section all the fun stuff that I do in the media with like the core stuff, which is therapeutic. And when it comes down to things like mindful practice, meditation, and then there's the other side of it, my entrepreneurship, which is working and creating a company and building an app, I feel like I'm at a really interesting position where I understand the kind of needs, both therapeutically of people on a personal level as well, but also just like entrepreneurship and the way that people are feeling concerned about mental health crossing over to a really kind of global experience of anxiety and depression at the moment. Yeah. So I think we've never been in a more confusing state. We've never been in a more chaotic state, but in the same sense, in my whole experience therapeutically, I have never, ever met other times in life where you don't get the creation from chaos. So I have like a really burgeoning hope right now that as much as there's a lot of panic and anxiety around and on my therapeutic level within my own entrepreneurship, obviously it's really challenging, but I never, ever see anything but in the end, pretty amazing change because of that. So it's as Ranj was saying not so long ago, it's a suck it and see moment regarding we don't actually know what's happening, where we're going and what's going to change. But what we do know is we're highly adaptable, incredibly creative, using what you brought into this when I was in backstage in the virtual green room. Because who knew? Only the regret is I didn't invest any money in these kind of Zooms and clean feeds. It's like it will be a global regret for me that I never did that.
I wish you could all see it as well, because that would be even better.
It's incredible. But there's that sense of when you were talking as well about the resilience and Cora saying, I'm going to do something, I'm going to be creative, I'm going to take my mindset and make an opportunity to do something that I've never done before, like create something like this festival. And I think right now what we're seeing is the beauty where people who are entrepreneurs, for example, just kind of go, right, I've got to make something new from this. So I think mental health wise, it's crazy time at the moment, obviously, but it's also an adaptability and creativity time that's just mind-blowing. So I think there's loads of positives coming out of it as well.
Yeah, we had Jenny Powell on earlier on, and I mean, you guys work in TV, but it's been a real leveler for everybody. It both people that are wanting to break through or people that are in television. We're all using the same stuff. So unless you can get into a studio, and there's only few and far between the really regular shows where you can get into the studio, actually, we're still using Zoom or StreamYard or Be Live or, you know, whatever other platform people are using. And it's all kind of looking the same. So this doesn't look any different at the moment, or really at the start of lockdown when you couldn't do anything before everyone had got their head around stuff. It's really interesting to see kind of what's coming through and the creativity from people, and how, because it is a leveler, creating a lineup like this, I would never have happened at any other time. There is no way on God's green earth that I could, in any other time, have called you last week and called you yesterday and gone, hey, will you be on my fake telly show, please? You'd have laughed me out. You wouldn't have even answered phone to me, just because it wouldn't have entered anybody's plane of thinking. And I just think that it's just a really, like you say, Emma, as exciting a time as it is a scarier time. And as long as many of us as possible embrace that, it makes for a very interesting outcome for us all, as long as we can keep our shit together.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the problems at the moment is that what's unusual, and Dr. Angela will know this equally, this is the first time I think that a lot of people are having their primary experience of a mental health issue. So people often believe that people make mental health issues up. You know, you come across that constantly because there's this belief that you just need to dig a little deeper, work a little harder, try something new, and there's exercise and eat nicely and eat well and it'll be fine. And it's quite frustrating for people who have things like anxiety and depression, particularly those who are at the clinical level where they're receiving treatment from medics or they're seeing psychiatrists and psychologists, because it's acute and it's debilitating and it's limiting. But these days, presently, all of a sudden, people are realizing that they're having their first experience of anxiety and depression. And suddenly they're understanding that it's not something that you create. It's very often a complete chaos of different feelings that culminate to offer you that feeling. And suddenly you're starting to recognize that this is real, mental illness is real, mental health is real. So I think that this is probably one of the positions that we've been in where we're looking at mental health and wellness, where for the first time I'm able to now have conversations where people aren't just seeing it as an abstract, they're actually in it. And that, to me, even though it's awful to be experiencing that, and as much as the UK is democratic to a degree, look, you know, there are some people who are sitting in their back gardens of their massive homes with their staff. And there are some people living in a really challenging place in a high rise with lots of siblings in abject poverty. So the democracy thing in the UK is always a massive juxtaposition, right? But I think on the mental health level, it's introducing people who would ordinarily consider themselves as separate to that. And it's engaging them into the reality of that conversation. I think that's something that's going to be really useful in the future, because mental health gets so little attention. I don't care what people say out there. I don't care whether it's PC to say it or otherwise. The reality is we are in a state in the UK where mental wellness is concerned. We don't have the resources, we don't have the reach, and we don't treat it correctly. So I think it's really important that people are buying into that now.
And it's, again, a real reoccurring theme through every conversation we've had today, through sex education and relationships, from surviving trauma through to business resilience. One of the key things that has been missing is all the way back into schools, right the way back into core provisions being maths, English and science. They're what we're really looking at. And actually, and I can imagine that it's frustrating as a professional, like treating people and speaking with people in that field, actually having kids that I know that are going to have a propensity, just because of our situation, the way that I had to bring them up, I had no choice, that are going to struggle. They're going to struggle. And I know that the provision that they're having in school is nothing. It's not the school's fault. By going to school, speak to school then go speak to your doctor then say, oh, speak to school then say, oh, speak to your doctor. And then you think, well, if there was a core provision, a core series of subjects within school that talked about boundaries, that talked about mental wellness, how to identify that, how to look after yourself, not just eat 5 fruit and veg a day. something
So
that's
true.
much more visceral than that, then we would see. And we're kind of preaching to the convert with like we're all on the same conversation and all talking the same, like thing
Yeah.
here.
We're in
a bubble.
Is it? But it's very, very interesting. And I wonder. I was talking to I nearly choked them. I was talking to.
We've got a doctor. It's fine.
If there's any time for it to happen,
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be fine.
If there was ever a time for some sort of reform, now is the time to be looking at it. I was talking to Dave McPartland, he was on Britain's Got Talent. He's the head teacher at Flake Free Primary School.
Yeah.
And he does a lot.
I'm doing a story with him next week.
He is amazing.
I love that.
He's a friend. It's a small world. I like how many mutual friends that we've got. Like between us, like we're just all going to be friends now. I'm friends with all my lineup. That's it. You're stuck with me. I'm ever so sorry. But he was saying, the whole SATs thing. He wasn't sorry when the SATs got cancelled.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how. Yeah. I don't know how do you feel, Dr. Ange, but listen. I personally have a huge political issue with our education system. I think that as a disaffected young person who was involved in the psychiatric and psychological system, my mum's just behind me actually, so she'll be nodding, remembering what this was like. I cannot believe that we measure children and teach them a lesson really early, which is you are a success or you are a failure. We know psychologically that the way we measure intelligence is completely wrong in the education system. So we know that. We know that, but we
metric isn't right before we start.
It's completely wrong. And also the idea that from an early age, you inform a child that they have a benchmark to meet, that their brain and their skill set just would never be able to meet. Because if you gave me the most, beautiful drawing and said, can you please replicate that? It would take me 1,000,000 years and it would still never work. It's not my skill set. Mm-hmm. Likewise, how can you take a child who's fantastic with their hands and tell them they're not clever because they can't do maths? The idea that we teach that lesson early on. And to give you an example, there was a study done where they looked at children who were in preschool and who had not had access to what we consider conformist education. And they did the Genius scale and 80% of them fitted it. By 8 years old, 5 years later, 8% did. Now, it's not that those children stopped being that creative and divergent. It's that we literally remove it from them by telling them that what's good about them is not measurable. And we have to change that. But you're never going to change that where we have a country that is about rich only caring about rich and poor having to work really damn hard to even get to a point where they're on a level playing field educationally. I mean, it's preposterous. And the thing about entrepreneurship, and certainly when I work with entrepreneurs, and Dr. Ange, you are an entrepreneur. I know that you're a medic and all of those things, but you've actually diversified, and that divergency exists within you. So you'll relate to this as well, as are you, Dani, because this is why you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you think about entrepreneurs, most of us have had a screwed up time. And the screwed up time has taught us that we either become this average or less than average person shoved in a box somewhere doing something we don't really enjoy, or we stop listening to the narrative and we shift it and change it and we grow into our own world. And we fall on our face a lot of the time, but it's okay. That's the key, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dr. Ange, I'm just talking over you. So I'm going to
No.
Don't be here. Don't ever shut up, Emma Kenny. Get on that soapbox. Don't get off it ever.
I carry my soapbox around with me, I just get on it constantly. It's on wheels. It goes with me everywhere.
But I completely agree with you, Emma. Absolutely agree with Emma. Sorry, Dani. I was just literally going to say, so many times I've been very lucky in the sense that I've had some great opportunities and I've done some amazing stuff and I've loved it. I genuinely loved it. But I didn't come from a very privileged background. And I have had to put a lot of hard work in. But so many times along the way, I have been told to stay in my lane. I have been told to not think outside the box. I have been told to not take that risk. And the only time anything good came of it was when I said, bugger off, I'm going to do what I think is right. I'm going to do what I feel is right because I don't want to be conformist and unhappy. I'd rather take the risk and think, at least I gave it a go. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Absolutely. And this is it, isn't it? And when you've had a struggle and you've had adversity, it's like Emma was saying, you can choose tenacity and pay in your strengths for, like Nikki James is just saying, you could pay your strengths forward or you pay your adversity forward. And that's the decision that we get to make. It isn't the decision that everybody makes, though, given that many people experience adversity. Like, we're the unicorns, if you will, in that we do choose these things, that we do choose success, whatever success looks like for us. We do choose tenacity. We do choose to be shameless and ask silly things at people, ensuring certain they'll turn up on the fake television show. We do these crazy things, but that's us paying our strengths forward. If we had more provisions in school to teach that they get to fly anyway, that whatever adversities that they got, and lots of our children experience so many traumas in different ways, and traumas and adverse situation, however you look at it, whether they've been a victim of domestic violence. That's where I was. That's where I come from. And no wonder my relationship choices were informed by those experiences. I had I wasn't taught how to deal with that. I wasn't taught how to deal with it because the school knew what was going on, because they didn't have anybody else to talk to. They didn't know what to do with me. And it was only when I got older and I'd been through my own situation, I saw history repeating itself. I was like, all right, okay, there's a pattern here. And it's only because I'm one of the strange ones that can recognize that. But so many people don't, and find themselves in cycles as they get older, and they wonder why things like domestic violence is perpetuated generationally. I find it absolutely fascinating. And do you know what? I could sit here and talk to you guys all day. Please don't let this ever be the last conversation between the three of us. Thank you so much for joining me for the Big Festoon, the both of you, for giving up your time today. I know you're both busy people. I want to talk with Emma more about Appy and the app that she's created. We've not had a chance to talk about that.
It's nearly killed me. It's nearly killed me.
It's going to be amazing.
It may still kill me. It may still kill me. Who knows?
Okay. I need you to tell us about it. Tell us about Appy really quick.
So for the past 5 years, I was a broke-ass single mum, basically. I had 2 children. My husband had left me after having a relationship with my friend. Total take-a-break story right there. And I didn't get out every night to run my 6 miles. I'd ran obsessively. It was just something I'd done since being a kid, and I couldn't do it. I had support from my parents, but obviously only in the day. So I remember sitting there one day and thinking, I have no money. I have no access to exercise. I have no capacity to connect with people socially. And I don't know how to feed my kids. We're plant-based, and I didn't know how to manage that on a budget. And I just sat there one day and thought, this is really bad that nothing exists that can just give me access to all that. So I made a vow to myself, all those years ago, probably 13 years ago now, that actually it's more, it's 14 years, 15 years. And I said to myself, if I ever get the chance, I'm going to build something that would give people that option so no other woman ever has to go through that. So that's what I've done. I've done it all myself. I've invested it all myself. So I've not got any corporate investors breathing down my neck telling me what I've got to do. And Appy's a democratic platform to health and wellness. So it's nutritional, it's physical, it's mental, and it's health and well-being. And it's expert led, but the point is it's got thousands of fitness videos, thousands of dietitian made recipes. They're all by dietitians or doctors, etc. And it's also got a platform where you can actually create your own communities for support. So that's what I've made. It was completely insane looking back. I reflect on it and go, this is why entrepreneurs can never look too forward, because you would never do it. But then if you don't do it, you're always going to regret. So Appy is going to be released in about 4 or 5 weeks, probably 4 weeks. And I have buttons and spinach to run it with. So never mind.
I'm really thinking about the spinach as well, and Prosecco.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be really creative. But the point was, I just thought, if I can create something that means nobody has to feel that alone in those moments, then I've done something positive. And being an entrepreneur has been a journey, because I say the word entrepreneur, and anybody who calls themselves an entrepreneur instantly feels like they are saying something ridiculous, because as an entrepreneur, I think you're meant to probably be quite rich a lot of
Yes.
the time, whereas I'm like the poorest I've ever been.
I'm here with you.
Everyone calls us an entrepreneur, and you're like, you know what? I've decided to just settle for the fact that women and men who become entrepreneurs, all we mean is we are people with creative ideas and fearlessness enough to just go ahead and try something.
We take chances.
To fail. Right, a willingness to fail. It's okay if I fail, and that's the key, I think, to a happy life is about. I'm cool with failure. I've done it so well. I have literally defined the bar where failure is. I can fall on my face and be like, I fell on my face better than you did.
Look how I fell on my face. And there is no successful person I've ever come across, and I have the privilege of working with lots and lots of very successful entrepreneurs, multiple 6-7 figure earners consistently, and no one has got there in a straight line. Nobody's got there plain sailing. Nobody's got there without blood, sweat, tears. Nobody's got there when they've launched the thing and it failed. Nobody's got there by not taking the baby steps to climb the mountain, then stumbling back a few steps. And if every time you fail forward, if every time you fail, you're not failing, you're learning. The only time you fail is if you stop. So then as entrepreneurs, if you're either winning or you're learning, right? And if all of this is coming to fruition in 4 weeks, then Emma Kennett, you are a massive winner. And I am very proud of you. Well done.
Thank you very much. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It's like, to be honest, that wasn't as scary as having to see Dr. Ranj go into Strictly. I mean, that was bravery beyond reason. That to
you
me,
rocked it.
Right, he did. Oh, he can sing too. He
Oh my God.
Honestly, Ranj, you have no idea.
The next email I'm sending you is a duet on Smule, and you've got to accept now because we're friends.
So good. He's one of those who's annoyingly divergent and can do it all.
He's not even a triple threat. He's like a quintuple threat. Like, what is it?
Yeah, don't even go in the same ball game. Just leave it.
I can't swim.
Oh, he's got to be able to fail at something. It's like, that's better. I feel better now. Right, you guys, I am so sorry to cut the conversation. It's not short. We've ran over, and we've got some other guests that are waiting to come on as we head on into the last legs of the day. But it has been an honor and a pleasure speaking to you both. We should do this more often, you guys. Huge amounts of love to you. That was Dr. Ranj and the fabulous Emma Kenny joining us. Oh my goodness me, what an absolute legend of a day that we have been having so far. I know we're running just a little bit behind. We were talking about some incredible things. We've got Elaine Lou Carter's joining us in just a second. But before we do, we've got the wonderful Sarah Cook. Come here.
Hello.
Come and have a cuddle.
How do we follow that one? They were amazing, weren't they?
And I've got no doubt that we will, because this has been a power lineup. There have been no weak links in this lineup at all. And I am so grateful to you for sponsoring one of our slots today. It is just, it is just so wonderful. Sarah, tell us about what you do.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to be here and to sponsor and be involved in this charity event that you're running. So I'm all about health and wellness as well. And for me, that's why I really wanted to be a part of it, because I've kind of lived and breathed health and wellness since I was tiny. It's all I've kind of really known, both from being an athlete, always working in the corporate marketing health industry, as well as kind of moving into being a holistic health practitioner myself. And so now I really help other health practitioners to grow and scale their businesses. But what I'm really passionate about, and it kind of fits exactly what Emma and Dr. Ranj were talking about, is that you have to build a life around your terms. It's not about building a business. It's about building something that works for you and that you truly believe in, but also you're passionate about. And that's what's really important for me, both from, and because of the sort of health and wellness piece that I love, it is partly mental health as well. And I think that's really come to fruition over the last few weeks, months that we've all been experiencing, hasn't it? You have to have those kind of baselines of passion that you want to be working and doing.
I'm just so grateful to have you as a part of the Big Festoon, and the work that you do is absolutely phenomenal. How can people find out more about you and what you do, Sarah Fabulous Cook?
So the place that I hang out the most is in my Facebook group, which is Healthy Business to Wealthy Business. So it's full of amazing health professionals, again, who are kind of looking to grow their businesses. But I kind of hang out there, really support people, both from a health, mental wellness perspective, but also from a business and strategy perspective as well.
Wonderful. And along the ticket, along the bottom is how they can get in, how we can all get involved with whatever you're getting up to. Sarah, thank you so much for being a sponsor. I love you. I will see you really soon.
I will see you soon, my love. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. We are going to power straight through. We've got Elaine Lucatis who's been patiently waiting. This is the first time we've run over the whole day. I've managed to keep things on time. I'm not going to pull back now because, Elaine, we've got some things to talk about. Elaine Lucatis, hello.
Hey everyone, I flew all the way from a small city called Los Angeles, if you guys know that place.
She flew in from LA. Look about the powers of modern technology. Hello, my angel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. And thank you for putting this together and still continue to have so much energy with all this stuff. But this is amazing. Congratulations.
I'm managing. Well, I've got the help of a little bit of Prosecco now. Somebody delivered some Prosecco and some Kentucky Fried Chicken to my door a little bit earlier on. So I've had a glass of Prosecco and I've had some Kentucky. So I'm fed and I'm watered.
Oh, okay. You have the basic needs. Congratulations.
Oh, I am safe and well. I'm ready to speak to you and learn from you as well, Elaine. We met just a few short weeks ago.
Yes. Thank you to Lisa Johnson.
Yeah, I was like, do you know? Because her network is insane. And I was like, I want to get some of the best business minds across the world involved in the Big Festoon. And without a falter, her next breath was Elaine Lucatis. And I was like, well, then I need to meet Elaine Lucatis then, don't I?
Yeah.
And then we hung out, and after a conversation over gifts, when we decided that we liked each other, we had a little coffee, and here we are.
I know. She went straight into marriage with me. That was like a quickie.
I do that with everybody. It's like we're just in or we're out, and we're generally in, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm it's like polyamorous. There's lots of people who I'm like loving today. I'm like lots of love.
Oh, it's okay. I'm in an open relationship with you.
So, Elaine, tell us more about what you do, because here in the UK audience, they might not know or might not have come across you before, although you're kind of a big deal, my friend.
Thank you so much. Well, besides being a lover of diverse stuffed animals, if you could see them
love
right
your
there.
diverse stuffed animals.
Let me show you.
Behind you.
Besides them, but they actually are kind of representative of me. I'm a business and career coach for women of all colors.
Mm-hmm.
And what's just ironic or just upsetting and sad that all this is happening with Black Lives Matter. And I have a lot of Black clients right now that I'm connecting with. So I'm a business career coach for women of all colors to create their own legacy. And what I did prior to that, I was actually telling Dani this, is I was also former community organizer. I knocked on doors, did phone calls, just helping move legislation here in America. And I was also a nonprofit fundraiser. So I come from a very mission and heart-driven industry, and I've transferred that over in my own business.
So what does your business look like now? Because that you've got to be really flipping tenacious to be part of, fundraising and grassroots situations like that, being involved in, political fundraising and all of that. You've got to be really quite tenacious, and that's hard work, isn't it? Getting money from people to I know, I'm feeling this. I don't think I would have done half of what I'd have done if I'd not had that one conversation with you. So you've been really integral to the money that we've raised today, which is just shy. I think it's over £15,000 because Dr. Ranch put £500 in the pot before.
Wait, so how much is the total now?
It's £15,000, which is no small amount. So for me with my audience size and what have you, we had a target of 50, but we've got till next Friday to do that.
Perfect.
So we've done today, and we've got all of this incredible. So we're at £15,243.78, and that really is just from my bedroom. So it's not. There's been no massive, big, expensive campaign or anything like that. People have just come and they've just thrown in the pot and they've sponsored slots, and it's just been fabulous. But it's hard work.
Yeah, it is hard work, and at the same time, you need to be really passionate about it. Mm-hmm. About whatever you're raising money for. So it could be raising money for this, it's getting money for your business, but you need to be really passionate about it. But what I told Dani for some advice, whether you have a nonprofit, charity, or a business, that's kind of the same thing, because Dani's like, what else can I do to raise money for this nonprofit? It's kind of the same question that I get from my clients. What can I do to start getting money from people? So I don't know if you remember back in the day, do you guys remember what Rolodexing is?
Yeah, I know it's an American term, but I get what it means.
It's
you have a little black book.
It's a black book, but back in the day, it was like that little circle thing where you get people's addresses. It was before iPhones like were created. But basically put a list together of people that would be passionate about this cause. So let's talk about this, where it's women's aid and it's a cause about ending domestic violence.
Yeah.
Put a list of people that you've talked to who are passionate about it, and then start reaching out. It's really that easy.
Yeah, and it was, and I'm always dead shocked. It's always the case. And then we were talking about money blocks this morning, and we were talking about how, you know, even 18 months ago, me standing up on stage and saying like, here are my prices, but it makes me feel like vomiting saying it, to then saying to somebody, you know, hey, would you sponsor £500 for this slot? It's hard work, but actually when you really believe in it, it becomes a no-brainer. And it's so interesting. But so you went from fundraising into the work that you do now, and the work that you do now, am I right, is your sole form of work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my sole form
business.
of work. So I'm a business and career coach for women of all colors. So I'm helping them build their businesses and just build their legacy. And with that, because it is women of color, there's a lot of mindset blocks, you know, like, but my parents usually it's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like just like what you're talking about, where you had your food and your water. Well, the need is just making sure I have enough money for bills, right? But then you have enough money for bills, and then you have that reach of self-actualization of what else do I want to do?
That's it.
And being okay and honoring your family. Like there was a quote where our grandparents survived so our parents could provide. Our parents provide so that we can thrive. Each generation has a new thing that they want to elevate and put themselves up to. And a lot of my clients I work with, and even white women, half my clients are also white, is acknowledging, respecting our past family generations, even if they don't understand what you do. Because honestly, my parents still don't understand what I do. They just care that I pay for bills.
She doesn't have a clue. She's like, I told her I did a launch, and I was like, it was like £38,000 or something. She just went, what? I was like, yeah, Mum, like that's what we're doing now. Like I'm doing okay. Like she was. She'd asked me to get her something from the Tesco, which is like a small Walmart, like round the corner.
Yeah.
Like, pick me up something, and she was like, I'll put you the money over. I'm like, Mum, you don't. That's not where we are now. Like, I could buy you some things from the shop. We're all right.
Well, and, you know, my parents didn't approve of what I was doing. I was making like 6 figures. I loved my job. I had a dream job. I mean, it was easy for me. I was just like, I raised money for the kids, because I basically raised money for, as you guys say in England, you know, uni students. We call them university or college students here who are underprivileged. But it was just really easy for me to do that. But now it was kind of changing the mindset and knowing that when I'm asking for money for my business, it's asking for a commitment that someone wants change and they're going to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So how do you go about, so when you work with people, how do you go about initiating that change? Because sometimes that change is generational, especially if you're working with women of color or women that come from a background that they may have experienced poverty, or like me, have experienced generational domestic abuse. Like there will be lots of blocks in the way. How do you start peeling the layers and start to work with those people?
Yeah, I mean, so the main signature program I have right now is my Aligned Action Mastermind. There's a little sign there in blue. But what I talk to them one-to-one and ask them, like, what are their blocks, and really feel into it. And having those difficult conversations where it's like, you know, they may not understand, but it's changing the perspective. You know, we could heal our generational traumas by going after what we want. And I'm just kind of like a loud voice speaker who just continues to say that over and over again, even though my parents and my family do not understand what I do. They just like, oh, I saw you on Facebook. So you just make money on Facebook? Like, well, there's no point to kind of explain it.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
But it's really having those difficult conversations. And sometimes I don't even have all the answers. So I've even brought in my therapist who's come in to talk, or even my spiritual coach. Like, I am Reiki trained. So that's how I help my clients, whether it's me or even finding other people to help support them.
Yeah. So how have you found lockdown? Because it's looked a bit different for you than maybe it has over here. So right now we are in the throes of things being eased a little bit, but for the past 3 months, it's pretty been much stay at home unless you're going to go and get your shopping or go to the doctors. How has it been like where you are? What has it looked like where you are in Los Angeles?
Yes. Okay, that's what I was going to. Just a reminder, I'm from a small town in LA. So, I mean, I haven't even really gone. I heard that I think they started kind of opening up malls, but 10 or 20% like capacity. However, as all of you know, Black Lives Matter is happening right now.
Right.
So there are curfews right now where we have to be home at 6 or 7 p.m., 9 p.m. The first day it was lifted was just yesterday. So on top of COVID, we have this that's going on here because we have a very diverse population in LA County. So
and how have you found that? So the curfews have been enforced. There are marches. I mean, there are marches here, but they're very, very peaceful. I was a part of one on Tuesday just gone. They're righteously angry. There is a righteous anger that is out there on the streets, and that looks different in different ways. And the media portrays things in certain ways, and whether that's true or not is to be, unless you're right in the middle of it, you like people don't know. Like, what is it really like where you are right now in terms of the protests?
Yeah, I will say I haven't personally gone through protests, but we are angry. And just a reminder, here in LA was the Rodney King riots that happened in 1992. So this is about 30 years later.
Yeah.
So people are angry because it's just like, this keeps happening every single generation. It's every 20 or 30 years. And wait, can I cuss here or am I not allowed?
You can drop whatever bomb you like in here, babes. Like, you just go for it.
I just always have to ask because that's just kind of my personality. And it's just fucking shit. Like, why is this continuing to go on? I know a lot of your crowds obviously are in the UK, so you can't vote here, but I've been going into town hall meetings or calls, you know, with NAACP, where there's like African American leaders. And so everyone in the UK, if you have United States friends or family members here, you know, all of them have said the same thing. The passion, the anger from the protests needs to fucking go into voting.
Yes, absolutely. You
Local,
can't remain
state, and
apathy
national.
anymore. Yeah, not just when it's presidential time, but the run-up, whoever you're putting in office, whoever you're putting in the judicial system, whenever you get an opportunity to go and put your name on the ballot or your cross on the ballot, go and do it.
And it seems so simple, but it's not, because I was on a call, and if we had the same voter turnout from 2012 or 2008, we would not have the fucking president we have right now.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And do you think? And see, when I ask these questions, it's out of my ignorance. But do you think that because there was when Obama ran, and for me, is personally, I think he was life-changing, game-changing. We miss him. We're like, get Michelle in. Like, we're ready for Michelle now. Like, come on. Like, the world is ready for Michelle Obama to be president now, or Oprah, or somebody. Like, let's sort this out. Because there wasn't in the race, there wasn't a black person in the running. Do you feel like the members of the black community just came off because we're not there now? We're not represented anymore. Like, why the fuck am I turning up?
Well, I have to first say I'm not black, right? And it's really I know, and it's interesting. And I'm not saying that targeting you, but what's really interesting, because I am an expert when it comes to helping women of color.
Of course.
Specifically with this, like, people are asking me, I was like, I'm not black, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Okay.
But I will say, in terms of numbers, yeah, the black turnout population was very low, but that's not just black. That was other minorities across the board.
Yeah. Got you.
You know why? I honestly don't know. It does piss me off because we would have President Clinton, and that would have been fucking amazing to have, like, a first female president. But people have to understand how important it is to consistently vote, as opposed to just that one vote. And yeah, I'm all for Obama. I love him, and I miss him so much. He's doing a lot more than our shitty president right now.
He really is. And you know, I spoke to Carla earlier on. You really mobilized when these conversations started happening as a leader in your field, really started to mobilize the conversation. So important when you have a following, and so important when you're in a position where you have a platform to be able to open up the conversations for your audiences. And one of the first things that you did was, you know, speak around your circle, speak to Carla, and you did a live, you know, how do we be better allies? How do we share with our audiences what we can do, what can we do to help? And it was so insightful. How did you find that conversation with Carla?
I mean, it was just so helpful. And I'm so, by the way, Carla, if you're watching the replay, I'm so grateful for you. Carla's one of my clients and friends, but it was just helpful. You know, I was scared to just ask, but then I have close enough Black friends and clients who I could just ask, like, hey, is this appropriate? What should I do? So that was really insightful. Educating ourselves, that was insightful too. You know, understanding that this has happened for 400 years. This happens every 20 or 30 years. So, you know, and it's also, it has to be, I'm sorry, I'm going to call the fucking coaching industry out.
Do
needs to be,
do it, because I'm here for it.
It has to be fucking more than just posting an inspirational post, like light and love, and has to be more than fucking reposting shit. Like, here's my commitment, and I actually have a post about it. I want to see a year from now pictures of your clients and your guest speakers, and there better be diversity, because this is all lip service to me.
Yep. Well, you're saying
angry.
that to me.
No,
Well,
not
you
to
think to me
you.
in my lineup, I'm like, girl.
No, not to you, but just like to everyone. Girl, I saw your lineup. Your lineup is good.
I'm here. I was like, started sweating. LA, don't shout at me. We're just friends. We were like in a polyamorous relationship with everybody then. I don't know what's happened.
No, but I mean, like, I just want to encourage that, even not in the coaching industry, like, we just better see that a year from now.
We have to. And if we have opportunities as a speaker, if I'm going to an event, if I'm being asked to speak on an event and there is not diversity on that lineup, I can't speak on that lineup because I can't align myself in that space. I can't align myself in that space. Whether I'm being asked to speak for free or whether I'm being, you know, paid a lot of money to speak, or it is irresponsible now to be allowing people who put on events, people who, you know, run retreats or anything like that, to not embrace what we need to embrace in order to move forward. But again, saying to this to Carla earlier on, we had Tessa Sanderson, who was the first Black female Olympian in a throwing sport, who joined us earlier on today. The interesting thing is that the conversation is, I'm finding there's lots of ignorant people out there, lots and lots of ignorant people out there, but I feel like more people are joining the fray and sitting on the spike a little more easy. They can see what they need to do, but also we then need to continue the conversation. It's not just this week. This conversation isn't just this week. It wasn't black tiles on social media last week. It is what, like you say, in a year's time, 2 years' time, 5 years' time, what can we be doing as an industry? To be making that better and healing that and helping all of the diverse members of our community, anybody who's marginalized, fat people, members of the LGBTQ community, like all of them.
And I will be completely vulnerable right now. I was crying this morning because I did a scholarship for my mastermind, like a Black Aligned Action Mastermind scholarship, and I got a message from someone in this industry who's like, that is not, you know, that's not really promoting equality. Like, this should be open to all. And I was fucking livid and pissed off. And what's very interesting is this is a fellow woman of color. She's not Black, but she's also a fellow woman of color.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just livid and angry. And so from that, you know, I'm preparing like what I'm going to respond to her. This was a private message. And from that, I'm going to personally message her and kind of just educate her. I don't think people understand that the Black population don't have the same resources, that there's prejudices. Like, when you see all the cases of the people who died, it was simple things. It was a $20 counterfeit, apparently.
Yeah, which some people joke about being at college, having gotten away with.
Yeah, and he died from that. Or, you know, someone else in Central Park in New York, and a white woman was just scared of this man because he was just Black.
Yeah, I saw.
They're embedded, you know, and I understand I'm even privileged. I'm not Black, but I'm a privileged woman. And so, and just having Black clients, Black friends, and so, yeah, I am going to respond to her. And like, these are experiences I've faced. Statistically, when you look at affirmation laws, it's not being quiet when you're faced with those difficult conversations. It's actually leaning in, having those conversations, educating other people, and also letting go of the attachment if they're going to learn from it or not.
There's a lot. We've got to be careful as well. Like I said, as well, white people have got to be careful because there's this that's like savior thing going on right now. So I've had inboxes in my I've had inboxes. I don't, it makes me crawl. In my Instagram calling me out on my lineup, saying that, you know, your lineup is all white people. I'm like, you have not looked at my lineup, my friend. Like, you don't have to go around checking out people like my line. They do. Like, we're telling people call it out. Like, go and have a look at lineups and what have you. Like, I get it. But call out the white lineup. For fuck's sake. Like, you don't have to go swooping in and like call things where they don't need to be called for the sake of paying lip service to what is going on and what is trendy right now and being part of the conversation, I think is kind of what I'm trying to say. But Elaine, there are so many things that we could talk about, and we've been cut short on time because we have to close this off at 8 because Facebook will kill us and cut us off. We won't be able to talk to anybody else anymore. But I feel like this is, again, for all of our lineup today, I don't feel like this is the first conversation between you and I, and the incredible work that you're doing, not just around raising awareness right now, but the amazing work that you're doing with Aligned Action, the masterminds that you run and all of that. I would just love to explore that further with you and share that more with the audiences over here. So I've got to cut our conversation short and I'm really sad.
No worries. No worries. But if there is actually one thing I do want to push, like I said, I have a scholarship for, you know, a Black entrepreneur. So if they want to apply, please actually go to my Instagram. It's on the link in bio. So it's Elaine Lou, ELAINELOU _, and you could apply there. This is my way to give back. And if you think this is not equality, fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely. That say to that, it's not just equality, it's equity. It is making sure that you're giving enough spaces for people who would never have had the spaces. And if you've got a whole sisterhood that are on the back foot, then offer them a leg up, for fuck's sake. And which is what you're doing. I think it's incredible. If any of you are out there that have an opportunity, if any of our Black sisters that are watching right now, I need you to get in touch with Elaine Lou Curtis now. Do it now, because the work that she does changes lives. I am not even lying when I say that. I know, like, Lisa Johnson's a mutual friend of ours. It's completely, like, I've researched the work that you do. It's amazing. Elaine Lou Curtis, thank you so much for your time, your energy, and your love. And of course, please, 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 if you want to get involved with that, please go and check out Elaine Lou Curtis' website and go and apply for that scholarship. Elaine, you're an angel.
you. Thank you so much. And thank you for doing all of this, Dani.
You're
almost in the final stretch. Congratulations.
We're nearly there. I'm going to pour myself a big glass of Prosecco. I'll see you later, my darling. Thank you so much. That was Elaine Lou Curtis. Everybody, I'm going to welcome on to the screen our final sponsor for tonight. We've got Sam, everybody. Sam from Lime Lace. Hello.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, you.
Tired. I feel sorry for you. I feel like I want to give you a little hug and just go,
I'm here for the hugs, and there's a reason why we're having that on for the last of the day is because I fucking love her, and also she is such a beautiful energy for us to round off today. And also we've got something quite exciting happening in this segment as well, so I'll get onto that in a little bit. But Sam, you sponsored a slot.
I did, darling, of course. I met you, well, I didn't meet you, I saw you at the capsule event last year, which was hosted by Natalie. And I fell in love with you. I've actually got a bit of a girl crush, if I'm completely honest.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm here for a girl Friday. I look at my t-shirt. I came as
crush, but fine. But yeah, I'm just, you're doing so well, and I'm just so proud of you. So keep going, and doing brilliant.
Thank you so much. Sam, tell us more about Lime Lace.
So Lime Lace is my little business. What should I do a point? Oh, there, a little point. So there we go. Hello. So I set up Lime Lace. It'll be 8 years this summer. I was a divorced mum with 2 children, young children. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, how am I going to do the school runs and look after the kids and find something I'm passionate about, which is what we're all looking for. We're always trying to find what we're passionate about. And I'm so lucky that I realised my passion was interiors and interior products. And I just thought, there's a gap in the market. Like, I don't want to have a house like everybody else. I don't want my house to look like, I don't want to name brands, but I don't want them to come to my house and just go, oh, I've seen that in so-and-so's house. So I was like, well, I'm going to develop a website where you could find unusual products that express your personality, that have a bit of fun. And your home's like you say, isn't it? Like in lockdown now, where we are, like we're living in our lockdown home, aren't we? And we're in it 24/7.
Your girls had 3 skips. I've had 3 skips. I've thrown my entire life away from this house since I started lockdown.
Yeah, and I can't complain because business has been brilliant for me because everyone's
want to make the house their living space, because if you go out to work and come home and the only thing you're doing is eating your tea or having your breakfast, having a shower and going to sleep, but actually you're spending time now in your gaff.
You are. And you're so busy and you go, oh, I want to paint that wall, or I want to wallpaper, or I need a lamp. But you're so busy, like life takes over. But since lockdown, I think it's given people a chance to just go, actually, like you should just try and make your home a bit more of a haven, be relaxing and express yourself. So yeah, it's been okay for me, but it's obviously hard work. I've got 3 kids at home, so I'm homeschooling 3 kids.
I am with you. I am with you, sister. Sam, we only have a couple of minutes, so I am going to be putting Natalie onto the screen now, but huge to you. Have an incredible evening. Thank you so much for being a sponsor. That was Sam from Lime Lace. Natalie Anderson, come here.
Oh, my love, I'm so proud of you. Oh, I literally could cry. And seeing Sam there as well. I mean, I feel like I just literally feel like I can feel it coming through the blinking camera, like the relief you've done. Like I know I'm your last person and everything.
You're my friend, and I'm just like, I just want you to.
And I'm like, oh, babe, I'm so proud of you. Like what you've achieved today. Yeah, get that card. Get that card. What you have achieved, I could not be prouder of you and everyone that's been involved. I know you've had so much love and support with Joe and the team at Chocolate, and then everybody else that's been involved as a guest and the sponsors, just really rallying and to get you to this point. Oh, yes! Amazing! Oh
my goodness me! Oh God! This is my daughter Daisy and my niece Olivia. This is my dad. They brought me gin. Oh my God! Here it gets sodden.
Oh,
right. Give us a kiss. Oh, you're all cold. Yeah. Right, go on, get out. Let me finish this. Right. Oh God. Love you.
Go on, have a cry.
Oh God. Oh God. Sorry. Oh Jesus! Look. Do you want chocolate?
Do you know what? I've got some in the fridge. We could do Cadbury together.
Let's have a. Have you poured a glass of wine?
I've got a glass of wine. Hold on.
Oh God.
I've got a Freddo.
Oh, I have a Freddo. You have a Freddo. I'm going to have a milk tray.
You have a milk tray, right? I've got a Freddo. We've got a glass of wine.
What's your favourite one? What do you like?
I like the strawberry and the orange. I like a fruity chocolate.
See, that's the reason why we're mates. I'm a fruity chocolate. I'm going to have a strawberry for you. Cheers.
Cheers, my darling. Congratulations, Dani. Honestly, I was so thrilled when you asked me to kind of end this with you, because for you, as in like, you know, to have that bit of everything that you've achieved, because you really have. You've worked so hard, and it allows me, because we do know each other, to be able to kind of congratulate you on behalf of everybody else, really, and just to say, you know, you've been amazing. And I've been able to kind of dip in and dip out throughout the day, and just to see the lineup of guests that you've had, you know, I mean, Elaine is amazing, and you've had Tessa, and you've had Natasha, and you've had Frida, and, you know, you've had so many, you had Alice, you had so many amazing people today. And, you know, I
was on a proper this morning set up before I had Dr. Ranjana McKenny, and I'm just part of the team. I was like, squad.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys, you do know, like, you know this, Natalie, like, you do know you're stuck with me now. They don't know. They don't realise yet.
They don't know the Pokemon, do they? They don't know. Oh, yeah, cheers.
Cheers, my love. Cheers, everybody. So we have, do you know what? You haven't dipped below, I don't think, sort of 75 watches all day long. And I know some people have stayed with us from, well, 6:45. quarter to 8 this morning, because I needed to go live just a little bit before 8 to breathe, because once we started at 8, it really has been session after session after session after session. And sponsors as well. All the incredible sponsors that we've had have come through all the way through the day. Like, I didn't know Sam had sponsored right until the last minute. We've had people sponsoring slots. We had Bounce Network. We had Ruth. I forgot her name. The wonderful Ruth sponsored a slot earlier on. Like, I didn't know. So that's another £1,500 that just we pulled out of our arse. Dr. Ranch donated 500 quid. We're just.
You've done amazingly. Honestly, you've done so brilliantly. And you know, when you think about this, and we had this conversation when I had the chat with you a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. Weeks are just flying, aren't they? About, you know, you throw yourself in at the deep end. And I think the thing about lockdown and this whole situation is that you have to be inventive and use what you've got. And you've used what you've had for the greater good, and you've absolutely run with it. You had an idea 4 weeks ago, and look at what you've achieved, and it's incredible, and you should be so proud of yourself. I'm so proud of you, and I know everybody else is.
And you've been really like integral to some of these bits and pieces. Like, you've been so helpful, allowed me to pick your brains, because you know what? Yes, I've been to like some of your events. Yes, I've spoke with you and we've done a little bit of work together, but actually you've no reason to help me. Like everybody who's turned up today has no reason to help me. And I know you're like possibly the nicest person on TV, but like, but you now are everything that I would want to be as a TV personality in terms of who you help when you're going along, because you've been there and you've felt that anxiety. You felt what it's like to be, even just consider yourself an outsider, even when you're not an outsider, even when you're right in the middle of it and you still see yourself as an outsider. You felt all those feelings, and the way that you are with people makes people feel so safe and so at ease and so lovely. And if I can be half of the kind of person you are in you know, TV or media, on my fake telly show.
Oh my God, yeah. I think this is the thing, Dani, for me, ultimately, you know, and that's so kind of you to say that about me. And I do really appreciate your thoughts. And you know me, I would have gone, don't say that. But then you would have said, no, take the compliment. I'm taking it before you tell me off. But basically, you know, for me, that is my job, and it's something that I love. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is work, and that should not make you, you know, suddenly elevate who you are as a person, make you more superior to somebody else. That's just crap. And if anyone is like that, for me personally, that's not the way my mum brought me up.
No.
You know, my mum did not bring me up that way. What I do, you know, as an entertainer is you're only ever one step away. Even if you're in the bright lights of everything, you're only ever one step away from not being there anymore. Right. The minute somebody else comes along, the minute the bigger show comes along, the minute the next young thing comes along, it can be taken from you like that. So if you're an absolute idiot and a nasty person and not kind and considerate, in that moment, well, God help you, because it happens to everybody, and it happens to people at different times in their career. You can be riding high, and then all of a sudden, bang!
Like one false foot, and it is as fickle.
Absolutely, and you know, it could even not even be your fault. It could just be something that's just to do with, you know, look at coronavirus. Look at the coronavirus, for example. Loads of people might have, you know, started jobs, amazing jobs. They're on a roll, and then the rug has been pulled from under them. And I'll tell you now, if you weren't a nice person on that job, and just God help you, it's just, for me personally, it's just integral to the way my mum's brought me up, is to treat everybody with respect and treat everybody equally. And that's just fundamental. And to be really different, I ain't got time for you.
You know what? It's lovely because I had the privilege of meeting your mum in Leeds at the first capsule event, and your mum was there, and I was like, "Hi, Natalie, I'm Dani. Hi, we're going to be friends." And you was like, "Yeah, all right then." And you were so busy, and you know, you'd had such a, you know, an incredible, such a success. But your mum was there, and she's so proud of you. And it is like, my mum's the same. She don't have a clue what I do, but she's dead proud.
Yeah, and she will, because you know what? she is proud of you. You know, you're an amazing person. Again, you're going out there teaching people, empowering people. I came to your event and it was amazing. And obviously I'd come to support you, and I'd also come to support Natasha, who's my friend, you know, Tasha Hamilton. And to see her and how I know Natasha and I know her personal concerns and worries and anxieties, and how you'd helped her and just helped her flourish with her business, and how she, you know, you gave her the confidence to get up there on stage and gave her that opportunity and helped her see herself in a different light. You know, what you do in your job as a professional and as a coach, it is amazing. As I said, when you spoke at my last event, and everyone was like, that woman is amazing. I was like, I know, she's brilliant. And, you know, I was just so proud of you. But it's about, as we've said before, you know, coming together and supporting each other. And everybody's got a place, and everyone, if you all look after each other, for me, it's a really important sentiment, that is, look after each other. We're all a family. We're all a team. Some people are going to race ahead, and some people are going to stay behind a little bit. And then the tables will turn and somebody else will race ahead. You know what? There's no need for any bitterness, underlying nastiness, which often with women we can be painted as. We often get that targeting, that name of like bitchy, nasty. You know, you don't want the competitive, ambitious.
Yeah, and it's all rooted in a fear that is ingrained in us from being quite young, where, you know, we've talked about this all through the day. You know, the themes have been really cool, like really fascinating. You know, one of the themes has been we need to get at this information sooner. We need to get at this understanding sooner. We need to educate our girls and our boys sooner, so that when they get to our age, they're not having to feel this anxious about stepping into the fray or stepping into their power. They can do it sooner. They can make choices and trust themselves sooner. They don't have to apologize for who they are, or they don't have to feel ashamed of who they are or where they come from, or the fact that they're a girl, or the fact that they're black, or the fact that they're Asian or Jewish, or a member of the LGBTQ community, or whatever. They don't have to be apologetic for any of those things. They just get to be it, and as a result, make the table and invite people to come and sit at it. That's the thing, isn't it? And it's when you make the table, and just like you've done with the capsule, you know, getting into fashion is hard fucking work.
It is hard, Dani, you know, it's really hard. And honestly, and it sounds so silly when I say this, but having a soap background, shall we say, which is an incredible platform. I never worked so hard in my life as I did on soap. Do you know what I mean? People do not understand the work that soap actors, shall we say, you know, it's 15, 16-hour days. It's 24 scripts every month. It's
not just the filming either. It's the press junkets, it's TV appearances, the magazine shoots, it's everything else that goes with it as well.
And also, you know, you walk into a room and everybody does think they know you, and they think they can be your friend, and that's lovely. You know, it's so lovely that people feel connected to you, but part of your life then doesn't become your own, and it's hard work. But with that comes this, especially in the fashion industry, you know, it can be very elitist, it can be very snobby. And I remember when I was first coming out of Emmerdale, and I was very lucky. Hello Magazine had asked me to cover Fashion Week. And I was absolutely thrilled. I was just like, oh my God, this is everything
Dream
to me.
job, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was a hairdresser in the 90s, and he had a subscription of Vogue, and I used to read that like it was the Bible. And I was 12, 13. It was my life. I loved my granddad had he was a Hollywood film buff, and he had books of costumes from the whole Hollywood era. And I would go through them like my life depended on it. So to be given this opportunity to actually go to Fashion Week, for me, huge. But the feeling that I got there, because I was a soap actress, it was like, you shouldn't be here. You know what I mean? I wasn't in the cool gang, like Mean Girls. And I was sat on the front row, and I could almost feel people kind of
feel them looking at you.
Yeah. And I felt so out of place. And I worked my way, and I wrote really good material for the magazine. And, you know, I knew my stuff. So that was one thing I've always felt like, always be the best. And even if they look at you, you know, in a certain way, if your work stands up and your talent shines, what's the argument? They can't argue with what's written in front of them.
And you only have to have a look at the capsule to see, you know, your attention to detail, the quality of the writing, the quality of the graphic, the quality of the content is just so, it's you all over. You can see that this is your zone of genius. It's your labor of love. It's your baby that you're sharing with the world. And it's just, and the events that you do as well are so inclusive and open up real conversations. It is about inclusivity within fashion, about conversations within fashion.
You know what, Dani? Again, that's so important to me. My friendship circle is really diverse. All of my girlfriends from way back from in school, like since I was like between the ages of 13 and 18, the core group of friends are my still core group of friends now. There's 7 of us. We're all different races. We're all different mixes. We're all different backgrounds. Those girls have taught me so much about life and about inclusivity, acceptance, different backgrounds, different cultures. And for me, my platform, it's very important to me to be inclusive. It's very important for me within fashion that I showcase all bodies, all body types, all women, different ages, different races, different sizes. Because why should one be more featured more than the other? In my mind, what? Do women not wear clothes? All women do. I was saying this, funnily enough, to my friend yesterday. Obviously, in light of the events that have been happening recently in the Black community, and I'd said to my friend, I'd been struggling to find editorial pictures for women of colour, and I said, you know what? Is it like Black women, Asian women don't go through the menopause, or they don't suffer anxiety? Because every picture where I'm trying to, you know, apply a picture to an article.
So like one with her head in her hands or like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it drives me mad because that's not what I want from the capsule. I want people to come there and see themselves.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. And it's something for me that has always been integral to the start of it, as a, you know, from being a baby with it.
I can see my dog doing something. Get out. Oh, the dog's just got me chocolates. What a knobhead. Get out.
I hope he's not taking mine.
No. Oh, no, yours are safe. It's all right. All my fruity ones are there. I'll save them for you.
But yeah, so that's what I'm saying, is it's just really important to me that it is inclusive. And what you were saying before with Elaine, and I was literally backstage going, yes, with everything Elaine was saying and you were saying about, you know, checking yourself and making sure when you're putting an event together, when you're doing a lineup, when you're writing a post, anything, are you subconsciously, without even knowing it, like having a bias? You know, just check yourself. I found that more recently, I've really, especially with the content, when I'm putting it together, I do have to double check and go, did I just pick that image because it was easy?
Yeah.
Because it was in front of me. Why did I pick that image? Why didn't I pick that one? Do you know what I mean?
Everything that you do as well, everything.
It's a good thing to hold yourself accountable. It's a good thing. And it's the only way that we'll move forward and that we'll make changes.
Yeah. And that's been, again, just the themes of today of just, if I couldn't have wanted a better lineup, wanted better conversations, had, you know, the kind of topics that we're talking about are important. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's why you're doing what you're doing, you know, showing that when you go to the capsule, you know, I can see myself, you know, I walked on your catwalk. I walked on your catwalk in a see-through soddy shirt like this. I would have done that for anybody else. But yeah, it's amazing. I want to let you in on something. Actually, I've got somebody in the backstage. It's not a surprise for you, but I wanted to know if you wanted to stay with me while we do this. I've not told anybody that we're going to do this live, but back in the green room in the studio, we've got Emma Roscoe waiting in the wings, who has been taking donations all the way through today. She's going to be shaving her head.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
She's going to be joining us. So first of all, one thing I wanted to say is you can go and find the capsule, everybody, at thecapsule.co.uk. Go and check it out because there's everything in there: health, wellness, meditations. There's all sorts of just wonderful content in there for anything from fashion to confidence and everything in between. It's a work of art, and it's just a brilliant magazine to go and get involved with. So that's where you find it. Is there anything else you want me to tell anybody about whilst I have you and it's just you and me?
No, I mean, to be honest, you know, we're starting series 2 of my podcast, which is the Capsule in Conversation. And so we've got amazing guests already lined up for that. So series 2 will be probably available the back end of the month, which, you know, again, covers very similar topics: well-being, empowering women, women in business, giving women the tools to go out there and be the people that they want to be. So that's kind of what the podcast is about. And you can already stream series 1. You can go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and find the Capsule in Conversation there. So that's great. And I'm like I said, I'm just keeping going with everything else that I'm doing and just trying my best to support as many other people as possible, really.
And thank you so much for your support. Are you going to stick around whilst we do the head shave?
Absolutely, I would love to. Thank you.
So what I'm going to do, I know Emma is back. I can see her right now, and I know she's absolutely shitting herself. I hope will you bugger off, dog? Wallace, will you get these dogs? I know you've done an incredible job all day. I'm going to bring Wallace in the feed. Is he there? No, he's turned his thing on. He has done an absolute. Oh, he's here, look. He's here. Let's bring Wallace in as we kind of start to close things out today. Wallace, hello, love. He's drinking whiskey out of the bottle. Hello.
I didn't bring drink out of the bowl. Hello.
He's not really. He's doing it for show. Although I've been I have some pink gin and I've got all sorts of stuff and a bottle of champagne for later on as well. I don't even know if I'm going to
get rid of my shiny head for you this time, Dani.
Are you going to get rid of your shiny head? Look at his glowy white moon head.
It's still
shiny head.
What does Poppy call me? A misshapen potato head.
You are the misshapen potato head. Is what our daughter calls him. He's so pale because he doesn't see the sunlight. This is where.
No, it's because my screen's white because I'm monitoring 3 different things at the same time.
He has been an absolute legend.
Gallery, Dani.
Hey,
gallery.
He's worked so hard, and it's not just me patting him on the head. Like, well done, Wallace. He's done an amazing job, and everybody absolutely loves him. And has said that, Wallace, we need our own little show.
All right, if you can do the face bit and I'll do the back scene stuff like normal. Be fine.
It's got a face for radio. It's all right. Wallace.
Yes.
You're very lovely. Thank you. Everyone's saying you've absolutely smashed it in the comments.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Shall I kick you off again?
Yeah, please.
Go on, bugger off. He don't like it. It's not for him at all. But it wouldn't be right if we weren't wrapping out the day without, acknowledging the incredible work that Wallace has done for everything IATQB. He's all right, really. I like him. He can stay. Yeah, for now. He's only husband number 1, but still. He's everything that you see, every single thing that you see that is IATQB, that is not me speaking, is the work of Wallace. So none of it would happen without him. He's just as much as IATQB as I am. What's he saying? Just go and bloody Mandela. What? He's been drinking too much whiskey. He can't anymore. That's marry Dan Meredith. He wants to go and marry Dan Meredith. I don't know if you caught him earlier on. He was absolute fire. He was brilliant. Right. Emma Roscoe, get on in here. Hello.
Hiya.
Emma, meet Natalie.
Hi,
Natalie is going to be looking after us whilst we do this because I need Natalie here now to hold my hand just so I don't cry and dissolve into a blubbering wreck whilst we do this next bit. Emma, you're about to do something a little bit crackers, and it's one of the reasons why I love you. Tell us what you were thinking when you came up with this idea whilst I eat this caramel chew.
I didn't really think about it. That's why I messaged you straight away before I chickened out. I've been saying for a few weeks because my hair's normally really short and it's not at the minute, and I've got a mullet. So I've been joking about shaving it off. And then I just thought, you know what, why not do it? But if I can raise some money and get some more money chucked in the pot in the process, then let's go for it. So I thought I'm just send the message, and you replied straight away. So I was like, shit, I've actually got to do it.
You can't message me crazy shit and not expect me to take you up on it. Come on, this is me you're talking to. And she's like, oh God. But can I just say, Emma, we've been keeping a check-in on the donations that have come through off the back of you offering to shave your head, and you've raised over £400.
Brilliant.
Which is absolutely phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. If you are supporting us right now and you have had an incredible day what I want you to do is, before we do this, I want you to go to virginmoneygiving.com/the Big Festoon. We're gonna stay with you until this is done, and we're gonna wrap out the day. I want everybody to donate as much as possible in this last sort of 15-20 minutes that we've got together. This link is going to be open until Friday next week. So we're still going to be pushing. We're still going to be fundraising through the week. But this was the main event. This was the Big Festoon. And the more people find out about what we do, we're going to be doing loads of PR in the next week. And I know, Emma, you're going to be part of this journey. We need more than 400 for this. You're absolutely right. So tell me in the comments what you're pledging. Tell me in the comments what you're throwing into the bucket. Emma.
Yeah.
Have you got your clippers?
I've got my clippers.
Oh, my God. I'm not ready.
I'm going to have to I need to film this. I'm sorry, Emma. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
Because then I can replay it.
It could be disastrous. I dyed my hair for the first time a few days ago. This is a whole new experience, so.
I love the colour as well. We're like saying bye to the colour.
I'll probably have patches of dye on my head and everything, won't I?
Right. Are you ready? Everybody in the audience, we're going to count it down. 3, 2, 1. And Emma Roscoe is going to shave her head for the Big Festoon. It's absolutely incredible. Are you ready? I can't. Just go for it. Do it.
Okay.
Let's go. Oh, she's got her clippers. Oh, it's going. Oh, my goodness. Let's have a chat while you're doing this, because it's going to take a while. Have you got a mirror?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I got a mirror because it's reversed on the computer and it's really confusing.
Yeah, you've seen me try to put my makeup, but look at Natalie's face. She's like, oh, my balls. Nat, you're next.
She's incredible, and you're absolutely amazing. Emma, do you know what? Thank you. You're doing this to raise money for Women's Aid. It's just absolutely incredible, and you're so brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
I'm watching in fascination, and also because I've got this chewy caramel stuck in my teeth.
Emma, are you normally quite fearless? Are you normally quite a gutsy person?
I think oh my God, look at that. I think I've started to be a bit more now, yeah. I used to worry a hell of a lot about what other people thought about me. Less so now.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. So Emma's a survivor too. It's been amazing to follow Emma's journey. She's a TEDx speaker. She speaks on, her journey. She speaks on giving back. Tracy Tillman saying there's no going back now. Natalie's face when the clippers went, Nat, your face. I'm going to go back and take a picture. Your face is like that.
No, I've got it on video. I'm going to try and replay it on my story with the swipe up link, because I'd love to be able to put it on my stories, like I say, with the swipe up link. So we'll get another one nearer the end. When Emma's near. Emma, you know what? You've got the most beautiful face. It suits you so much,
doesn't it? Doesn't it?
It's absolutely amazing.
So many people are showing you love right now. Chanel,
This is so much harder than it looks, I swear.
You're making it look completely effortless,
Yeah,
by the
you
way.
are.
It might take some tidying up. She's doing this on her own. Normally, when you go to sponsored head shaves, they have somebody doing it for you.
Yeah. Well, it was either me or my 4-year-old, so I took the chance on myself.
It's not that wouldn't have been a good life choice for anybody, I don't think. Where are we? We've got Kerry Jones is saying well done. Nicola Jones is saying wow, superwoman. She absolutely is. She's just phenomenal. Shell Showett, you can do this. Nicola MacArthur, my sister-in-law, you're incredible. £20 from us. Well done, Emma.
Thank you.
Oh God, so many comments. Wow, Emma, this is amazing and crazy. Like she cray. Sherry, she's so beautiful. She absolutely is, isn't she? Nikki James, what a legend of a woman. These comments are just coming through thick and fast. Emma Roscoe, I love how brave you are, and you're so brave. Emma, what an inspiration. Nikki Collins in Phoenix. Hey, Snot Buddy, how are you doing? Danielle Michelle is giving you loads of kisses. Nicole Wiggins says you're amazing. Debbie Ann Turnbull, you're amazing, Emma Roscoe. You have a girl army of fans. Kudos to you. Everyone is right behind you doing this. You're just phenomenal. This is going to be the difficult bit, isn't it?
Oh, I wish someone was behind me doing it, because it's really hard. I take my hat off to blokes who shave their head all the time, because this is a
You do it all
nightmare.
the time. You're doing such. I'm gonna let you concentrate. Like, Natalie's just watching in awe. She's like,
I know. I'm
what?
like, Emma, you are gutsy. Like I would be if I'll be brutally honest. But then I think it's because my hair is my thing, and I would probably be crying. But you are just. That's why I asked you. You know, are you quite a gutsy person? Are you quite like whatever? They're just a bit. I don't know. Gutsy. That's the word.
I think like my hair was. Shall I tell people about why I'm doing my hair, Dani?
Please do, because it's such a story. It's such a
Okay,
story.
so-
And it's so phenomenal.
My hair was one of the few things that I always felt like I still had control over when I was in that relationship. Nothing that was done to me was visible to anybody else. A lot of it was emotional abuse, control, coercion. So to most people, just looked like my normal self, and I did a really good job of hiding it all away because I was so ashamed and just tried to pretend everything was normal and okay. And eventually it did become my normal. So then I was stuck there for a long time. It lasted 10 years. And during the later stages, when my mental health started to deteriorate, my hair became my one thing that I could do whatever I wanted to, and he couldn't stop me. So I used to have different colours and different cuts. After having the same hair for years, I started changing it rapidly because it was just like that little bit of freedom, me just hanging on to a part of me that he couldn't touch. And so my hair was massively significant to me during those 10 years and in the time afterwards. So I thought it was a great thing to do for such an amazing cause.
I'm just so honestly, oh God, I'm a wreck.
Don't you make me cry because it's hard enough as it is.
You're doing so incredibly. I'm so proud to know you. And I'm so proud to be your friend. And I'm so proud to work with you. You're just everything that you have survived and what you put up with and all the way you pay it forward now, Emma, is just honestly fantastic. Joe Swan has just dropped us a little message saying BBC Radio Shropshire on standby to speak to you after this to boost fundraising as well. We've had loads of media outreach over the course of the day, which has been fantastic. We've had local radio sharing, we've had loads of online magazines sharing, we've had so much support from the wider world. We got a little sharesies off Virgin Money earlier on, which was made up about. We've got Sarah Davidge, who works within the she leads research for Women's Aid, is watching us right now and is saying what she's saying. You're doing a great job. You're going to look amazing with your new do. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for supporting us through every bit of this journey. We have been raising money all the way through this for Women's Aid and also for Galop, which is the LGBTQ initiative. It isn't just about women, it's about men as well. It's about education. It's about making sure that all, anybody who finds themselves in a situation like this doesn't have to find themselves in a situation like this anymore. Or if they find themselves out of the situation, they get to do what we do and they get to fly anyway. And it has been a very emotional day. It has been a long day. We are at the end of it, you all. There was going to be a Survivor segment. We haven't got it already in time. I will be back with a little recap and roundup after the weekend. And I'll do a separate little Survivor show just for you guys to celebrate everything we've done. Wallace, are you there? This is the tricky bit now. Wallace. Hello. You're on mute.
Yeah, no, I'm on mute. Give me a sec.
So, Wallace.
Yes.
What are your final thoughts about today?
It's been bloody brilliant. It's been bloody brilliant. And I was thinking like, okay, I'll press a few buttons, but I've actually been watching. I've watched all of it, the entire thing. Like all of the speakers we've had have been amazing. So
yeah.
Thanks to everyone that's donated, and thanks to everyone that took part. And it's been really good. And thanks to you, of course, as well.
I love you.
Love you too.
I'm gonna kick him off. He's all right. Wallace, can you give us?
Do you want a drum roll?
Yeah, give it right. I want a drum roll in the comments. Emma's just finishing off her hair. I want a drum roll. This is not the final figure, you guys. So I just want to be really, really, really clear on this. This is not the final figure. We want. I can't look. Right, go on. there is still money to go in the pot, over £15,500, and that is there is still money to go in the pot. There is still, Dr. Ranger's got his money to put in there. There is, there are another few £1,000s to go on top. So I think all told at this point, we're probably looking more. Well, it's am I right at about £16,500 as we're wrapping up today.
Yeah, roughly that.
So £16,500 in a day is not bad going, you lot. I think we should be proud of ourselves and pat ourselves on the back. I think I'm done crying. We've got the incredible Emma Roscoe there is just tidying up her hair after telling us her amazing story. Please, please, please donate. Look at what she's done, for us. She's crazy cow, but still we love her.
She looks mint with her skin hair.
She does look mint with her
You
skin
look
hair.
amazing, Emma. Honestly, you look absolutely incredible.
Oh, thank you. I was going to take some tidying up there, so proper patchy.
Right. Well, we're going to let Emma go and tidy it up. Emma, we love you so much.
Emma, can I just get a quick little video with you though, just so that I can, because I'm going to try and do the 3 steps on my stories to get people to swipe up.
Yeah.
So I'm just grabbing this now, so I get the picture, and
Is
then
she taking a video or a picture?
So I'm doing a little video now.
Do a video, like you've got a pause, strike the pause, Emma. You've got all, look at you walking it and work it.
And that's incredible, Emma. Well done. Oh, Emma, that's fabulous. I'm going to put that on my stories as well with a swipe up link.
Thank you. And thank you so much to everyone who sponsored me.
It's a phenomenal feat that you've done. So go and tidy that up. Go and enjoy your big drink that I know you're going to have back there. Enjoy your big gin. Cheers to you, my sweetness. What an incredible...
Cheers, Emma, you look amazing. You wonderful lady.
What an incredible feat. That's Emma Roscoe, everybody. As we close things out, we're going to let Wallace go. He's dying to play some computer games now. We love you, Wallace. Well done, you. Emma, you're not Emma. Emma's gone. Natalie, I don't know my own name.
Do you know what? Right, listen. So, like I said, I feel very privileged that I got to have this last little bit because, it means that on behalf of everybody else, I can pay tribute to you to say, well done. You're an amazing woman. Look at the total that's in front of you. And that's not even the final total. As you say, you're more likely to be heading towards £20,000. And what an achievement that is. And there's going to be so many women and men and families that are going to benefit from what you've done today. So congratulations. You are an incredible human being, a lovely, lovely person. And I'm so unbelievably proud to have even just been part of this at the very end. I hope you have an amazing drink tonight.
I'm gonna have a big sleep, a big cry.
Special, wonderful lady.
Thank you for sharing this last half hour and 45 minutes with me, Natalie Anderson, everybody. What an absolute angel. What an incredible day. I can't believe it. I can believe it. I can't believe it. I don't know what I can believe anymore. I don't even know my own name. I don't know who you lot are. Who even am I? I am the Queen Bee. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen and folks. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing today. Thank you for learning with us. Thank you for raising awareness. Thank you for donating. Please keep digging deep. This is not over yet. There's more work to be done. Keep the conversations open. We have got so many things to talk about. We've got so much work to do. I'm going to go and take a little break now. I'm going to take a little cry. Fall to pieces on you all. For everyone that stayed with me all the way through the day today, you are wonderful and amazing. Thank you for holding my hand. Huge shout out to Creative Sass for creating most of the stuff that you see, that it was in the boxes, and just the ideas that you have were amazing. Thank you for sending me my KFC. Thank you to Pixie Knowles for sending me some cake. I ate that during Dan's session earlier on. To every single one of our speakers for turning up, and each and every one of you bringing the fire today for everybody. It has been an absolute riot. What say we all do this again next year? Are you up for it? Maybe even we'll do it live. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I'll get really cheeky and manage to get an incredible lineup like that on a real life stage. You lot are wonderful and fabulous. And remember, the bee should not be able to fly. Its little wings should not get its fat little body off the ground, and the bee flies anyway, because bees don't care what humans think is impossible. You are amazing. I am the Queen Bee, and I will see you after the weekend. I love you.